Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Oh, it's nice to see you guys today. It
I
really is.
know, right? Morning,
Yeah.
Jenna and Bernie. Yes, Bernie, I'm awake.
Yes.
Good morning,
Um,
Emmy Lou.
goodness, my goodness, my goodness. How are you guys
Super
this
Serial,
morning?
good morning.
We're gonna wait for a few people to get in here
Jana,
and then
good
we're gonna
morning.
address a few things. And it's gonna be a little bit, a little bit, yeah, we're gonna talk about domestic violence. Definitely gonna talk about domestic violence. And the domestic violence hotline is scrolling across the screen if anybody has, needs that. But I'm going to wait for a few more people to come in, and it's going to be a little bit of addressing a little bit of drama that went on last night. And then I'm so done with it. And I'm so done with these people that play victims that aren't victims. Um, so I'll wait until a few more of you come in, and then I'm going to, talk about it a little bit. Morning, Ems.
Oh,
And I
there's
admitted
Ems.
I
Good morning.
got a little triggered last night because, you know, just because. And another thing I
Hey,
wanted to
Michigan
address is,
gal.
uh, you know who you are, but it's none of your business what I do on my channel. If you don't like it, don't watch. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm not even going to mention any names because it's not worth it. Good morning, Jenna.
I know, Jenna, I do
Morning,
that
Jenny.
sometimes. My insomnia is
Been awake
ridiculous.
all night. I know. She'll like, hi, Charlie girl. She'll text me something in the middle of the night, and I'll type back to her, and she'll go, "I have a question for you." I'll go, "What?" She'll go, "Why are you answering me?" It's
At
like
this hour of the morning.
4 o'clock in the morning here,
Morning, Charlie
3 o'clock
girl.
in the morning there. So,
Oh,
oh wait,
Bernie's the first Ireland resident
oh wait,
here.
Carla, what's good? Hey, Jerome.
Hi,
I'm just
Jerome.
gonna I'm just gonna address a certain person this morning, and then I'm done with her because I'm done with her bullshit. And I think a lot of people on here are. Um, I guess there's 50 people in here.
Yep.
Mandy Bell, stop. Just stop dropping these stupid messages. You this is how you terrorize people. You call us terrorists? When you start dropping your private messages, and you drop, everything I said in there, yeah, it was shit talk. Who did I talk about? I don't freaking remember 2 months ago. You obviously do. It's important to you because you keep dropping them. It's bullshit. You understand? People don't care. Did I make some? Did Jen ask me people who to watch out for? Ah, people that I don't care for. Did I say certain names? Yeah, I did. Initials, I think we did. Did we ask her to go after anybody? No, we didn't. So quit turning the narrative, like Laura says, quit twisting and turning the narrative. If we were so wrong, you answer me, and I know you don't. You're not triggered, but I am a little bit.
Joe Jackson
Uh,
Nunya is on a break.
yeah, Nanya is.
Um,
Yeah, she got a job and she just wants to, be
mhm.
off YouTube for a while. That is why Mandy Bell can't keep friends. Exactly. Where was I? No, I lost it. Last one. If we did something so bad, okay, Mandy Bell, why did Life with Jen, Live, Laugh, Love, and Leanne Lee, or whatever her name is, why did they all message me to apologize to us? I'll tell you why. Because they gave you, Crazy Eyes, access to a freaking Discord that you had. And I apologize for calling you Crazy Eyes, but you act
Good
crazy
morning, Charlie girl.
sometimes. But they gave you access to something that had nothing to do with you. And what you do with it, you screen record it and you drop. And the only terrorist here on YouTube is you. Look
Good
in
morning,
the
friend.
mirror. You were not bothered. Nobody bothered you, but for weeks you went on YouTube. I'm going to drop this. I'm going to drop that. I'm going to drop, and you're still doing it, girl. You're still doing it. You're doing stuff from a year ago. You're dropping stuff. You you've got to stop terrorizing people. I don't care who you have on your side. I'm going to own who I don't like. I don't like certain people, and I said it. Yes, I did. And that's all I'm going to say about it. I don't take it back. I'm certainly not going to apologize to anybody because they went on their panels and, you know, bashed me, and that's fine. I went privately and said what I thought privately, and you took it upon yourself to post it publicly. That's on you, girl. I could care less what you post from now on. I will not watch you. I'm blocking you. I will not get any notifications from you. Whoever wants to watch that shit can watch it. Whoever wants entertainment by watching that shit can watch it. I don't give a crap. And that's all. Go away. Go away. Go away. That's all I got to say. So I will say my good mornings.
Jenna, if
Top
like
of
with
her
Jen is speaking, she's lying. If
Right,
her lips are moving, she's lying.
right. And I don't really care about Life with Jen anymore. I was in her chat last night to clear Republican Ash because Life with Jen was lying. Okay, well, whatever it is. Good morning, Billy. I'm just sick of Mandy
Morning,
Bell
Samara.
how dare you call us
Bailey, that.
terrorists? When did we call you terrorists? You guys went into my friggin', you even
No, I called
admitted
them
it.
terrorists. I called
You,
them terrorists.
yeah, well, they are
Straight up.
terrorists.
And
They went back in my channel to freaking block people, and they admitted it. Don't say you didn't, because I have screenshots where you all admitted it. You people that were in Trisha's Discord were quite proud of going back in my lives and blocking people. So who's the terrorist? Mandy Bell, I firmly believe you are involved in that. And until you can post your private messages, and everybody in everybody's Discord can post everything they've said in private, don't come to me and judge me, because I'm sick and tired of it all. I'm sick and tired of Mandy. I'm sick and tired of the people that get such pleasure in this. I'm just sick of it. And if we did such a wrong thing, well, then you know what? Unsubscribe me and, go over there. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not going to apologize. We're not terrorists.
Well, I just wanted to pose a little challenge this morning
Okay.
to all those people who are out there ragging on me and Carla about anything that was said from a 5-day Discord. I challenge you, go ahead and open your Discords. Nobody else, it's just your conversations, and start posting them. I'd love to see what you say behind the scenes.
Yep.
But it's all good.
Yeah, it's fine. And I want to reach out to Mandy Lynn and say thank you for your community post.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Now, moving on. What are you doing in here, Bluebird? If you're going to be respectful, I'm not going to yell at you, hon. I seriously am not. I don't want a problem with you. Bluebird is in Trisha's Discord. Do you have something to say to me? Because I'm not going to yell at you. Seriously, I don't have a problem with you. I don't want to start having a problem with you, sweetheart. I know I've been like, oh, I'm really choppy this morning. I don't know if it's my internet or what. I see my face is choppy.
Exactly, Jenny.
I know you didn't. It's a personality thing with BTS. I just have, I don't, I have it's a personality. I have nothing against you, Bluebird. You're welcome in here. You've never been disrespectful to me. So, it's just my, my own feelings. A lot of people like her, and I'm not telling anybody not to like her. I myself, have, like, she has a problem with me, I have a problem with her. So, but anyways, let's move on from this. Okay, we're talking about domestic violence today and statistics, and as you can see scrolling across the screen is the National Domestic Violence Hotline.
As
And
well as a
the
text.
second number is for text.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have, like, it's yeah.
I wanted to bring up a couple of
Oh,
cases that kind of were
yeah.
groundbreaking. And I don't know if any of you
Mhm.
all saw The Burning Bed with Farrah Fawcett. Excellent, excellent little movie. It's about Francine Hughes, who suffered domestic violence for years. She and her
Right.
husband, Mickey, had 3 children, and a lot of that domestic violence was carried out in front of those children. And she ultimately, when he came home drunk, raped her and then passed out in the bed. She set the bed on fire and killed him.
Morning,
Um,
Jason.
the other is Tracy Thurman, who repeatedly left, went back, left,
Dova,
went back.
I don't know. Dova's asking. I just want to know what Whiskey and I did to you. Town call about. Dova, I don't know. It was 2 months ago. It might have been because you were in Wendy V's chat. I don't know. It could have been anything. Who knows? I don't feel that way now. I'm sorry. If I hurt your feelings, I apologize to you. Um, it's like venting. You don't know, okay, I just wanted to tell you BTS did not mess with your chat. Oh, that's fine. I didn't say she did, actually. I just said, people admitted to messing with my chat.
Good morning, Ben. Good morning,
And
Peace.
Dove, if you want a personal apology, I'm giving you that right now. I don't remember why I was mad at you then.
Good morning, baby.
It might have been about the whole Wendy V thing, but I can't remember. So, but we're talking about domestic violence today, so.
The
Go
other
ahead.
case was in 1986, Tracy Thurman, and it was an excellent movie. I think it was a Lifetime movie.
Yeah.
And her husband, Buck, beat her for years. They had children. She kept reporting it to the police. She would leave. She would get a restraining order that would be totally ignored. Every time the police would show up, they would tell her, "We have to see him actually hitting you in order for it to be considered domestic violence." I mean, she could be bruised from the top of her head to the bottom of her feet. Walk into a police station, they would say, "Well, we can't do anything. We didn't see him do it." He literally nearly killed her, stabbed her numerous times, beat her, stomped her head into the ground, and she barely survived it, actually. But those 2 cases changed a lot of public opinion about domestic violence, as well as some laws. So those are the 2 biggest groundbreaking that I know of that I found digging up. I'm sure there's 100 more. Um, but what we were talking about when we originally thought about doing this was, why do women continue to go back? They'll leave, then they'll go back. And the average amount of times that a woman will go back into a domestic violence situation is 7 times. And anywhere from time 1 to time 7, you risk a lot. You risk your own life. So
Yes.
why does that happen?
Oh, welcome, Bernie Doran. Thank you. Welcome to the Coffee Coalition. And the reason I know that statistic, particularly that statistic, is I was placed in a shelter for my own good. And of course, when you're in a shelter, you get group therapy. And that is what they told us, that the average woman goes back 7 times. I don't know this was years ago, so I don't know if that's still the same. But a lot of progress has been made since that time. But I did go back multiple times to my abuser because he had me so beaten down that I didn't actually believe that I could survive without him. I
Hey,
mean, I think
Mario. Hi,
that's
Emily.
one of the worst things about domestic abuse is sometimes it's not even the physical abuse, sometimes it's the mental abuse.
Yeah, we're
Um,
talking. Pizza Kitty said fear is a reason. One reason why they go back. Yeah, I mean, there's a huge fear of making it on your own. Taking care of your kids on your own, being financially independent. I think that's one of fear too that they'll come and find you wherever you are and hurt you. Um,
and they tell you you're fat, you're ugly, no other man would ever have you. They beat you down to where you just feel like you are nothing.
mhm,
And to be honest with you, I was to the point where I saw no light at the end of the tunnel. I was to the point where, um, I was to the point where, you know, I would think to myself, I would think to myself, death has to be better than this. Like,
mhm,
I
mhm.
seriously considered suicide, because it just was, I just couldn't think of any other way. The only thing that kept me from doing that was my children. So, you know, um,
Yeah.
it just beats you down.
Jenna was also saying that teen domestic violence also happens. You need to
It
be involved
does.
in your children's relationships because a lot of times it starts, early where they'll
That
get in
is
a
why I worked in
relationship.
a safe house. Mary, oh, that's so interesting. And
That's
we were
awesome.
talking about males too that work in, that are victims of domestic violence because this is not just woman's problem. Although the statistics are higher for women, there also are men that are victims of abuse. And, if any of you guys have a story to tell, I'll tell you my story. I was with somebody that, uh, you know, held a gun to my head, locked me in a closet, threw me down the stairs. Uh, you know, and the only reason the cops were ever called, because we lived in a condominium, and the neighbors called because they heard me screaming because I wanted to get out of the closet. The cops came, took him, took him away for the night. Uh, but when I knew I was going to be in so much trouble when he came back, and I had called friends, and I got away, and I got a protection from abuse. But I ended up going back to him after that because, and don't ask me why. It was just crazy. He held the gun to my head and he said, "Do you think there's bullets in this gun?" Um, he beat me. It was just, and as bad as I had it, there's women that have it a whole lot worse. You know, uh,
Mhm. Hey, and
there.
true, it's not just Kevin's got a good point. And no, I don't have the statistics in front of me, and I apologize for that. It was a weird night last night. Anyway,
Uh-huh.
um, but yeah, most men never report it, and there are men, many men, who are victims of domestic violence, and they don't report it because they're looked at funny, they're laughed at behind their back.
Right.
They're called less of a man because they
Mario
don't hit
wants
the
money.
woman back. Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
and actually, that is why I was so infuriated when Jodi Arias used domestic violence as a defense for the murder she committed, because
Hmm.
it was such a disservice to women that have truly, truly suffered domestic violence. Because I really don't believe she did. Um,
Hmm.
I think she was the perpetrator. I don't think she was the victim in that case.
Hmm.
But yeah. Um,
Right, Emmy, the nightmares, and they go on for years.
Morning, Mary. Your camera's on.
I
Morning,
know.
Mary.
Oh, you know it's on? Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to. Yeah, this is what I do for a living, actually, because of
Okay.
my experience.
Yay.
Okay.
Um, so I had my oldest. We thought she was going to be an only child, and he started being abusive, but just like controlling. And then I had the twins, and I was in the hospital, and for him, the problems that we were having with the twins, me being in the hospital, him having to take care of my oldest. Then it really fired up after my youngest was born. And literally, he would drink, and at 2 o'clock in the morning, he'd start yelling, pushing me, like everything. Sorry, my cough is still. So it was one day, one of my twins was 3 years old, and 2 o'clock in the morning, he pushed me straight across the bedroom, bounced off the wall, and there's my one twin. I'm like, hell no. So I went and I got a protection order, and he wasn't allowed to come to the house. He wasn't allowed to see the kids for 18 months,
Wow.
only through the grandparents. But you know what that motherfucker did?
What?
18 months, he showed up in my house because the order was expired.
Yep.
My kids were like, why is daddy's car here? I'm like, good question.
Mhm.
And he like threw it in my face. I had to call my lawyer. It took 10 days to get him out of the house again. But it was really like hard for the kids because they didn't understand. I'm sorry, I think I'm getting a cold already again.
No corona.
So no
Corona.
It's, I think allergy. No, God, no. But what he did do though, I lived a pretty nice lifestyle, like a $500,000 house. Anything my kids needed, like we did without. And when I kicked him out, he canceled all of our credit cards. He siphoned our bank account, and I did not have one penny to my name with 4 kids.
Yeah.
A 2-year-old, 2 3-year-olds, and a 13-year-old. So my family had to come and like give me groceries, give me diapers. Like it was embarrassing. And like I didn't tell any of my neighbors because, they're all like executives. And one day they're like, so where's your husband's car? I'm like, oh, he doesn't live here anymore. And then I knew I wasn't going to stay there, of course. And I was going through with the divorce. And these people who, keeping up with the Joneses, I like to say, I was having some sort of demonstration in my house. And this woman who I knew was already being emotionally abused at the very least in her house was like, you're willing to give all this up? I'm like, what? This is just a house. Like there's just so much more than living in a nice house. And she's like, I wouldn't want to give all this up. And I'm like, yeah, it's not worth it to me. So he fought me every step of the way. It took 4.5 years to get divorced and over $30,000.
Wow.
Yeah. And so like my oldest has totally been like, she didn't even want him to come to her wedding. Not that she really had one. She eloped on the aisle at all because she knew a lot. She was 11, 12. The little ones, not so much. And he doesn't drink anymore. So I hear, but I don't really know. My kids haven't seen them in months because of, besides the high school graduation, because of the virus. But yeah, it's for real. And people were like, I can't believe you're going to leave your financial security. I'm like, that's nothing compared to my kids' mental health and my mental health.
Pizza
and my
Kitty
safety.
It took her 16 years to leave. And
So
it does take people a while.
that's when I started working like with domestically abused women.
So have you seen some pretty bad, horrific horror stories?
Can you hear me?
I can. Can she hear me?
Who, me?
I don't think I can hear anybody else.
Oh, we're listening.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
We can-
I can hear you. I can't hear Carla.
Can you hear me? Oh, I didn't think she
That's
could hear
weird.
me.
Mario, you can't hear Carla?
No.
Okay,
Damn.
so
Oh, okay.
well, if you can just hop out and come back in.
If you want to hop
Right.
out and come back
Yeah,
in, you might be able to hear her then.
Yeah.
Where did we lost Misdemeanor too?
Oh, she probably got a phone call or something.
Oh, maybe.
You have a story too, Jenna?
Oh, yes, and the whole reason that I mentioned the teen domestic violence is because mine was from being a teen. Um, I had met my daughter's father when I was a teen. I was a teen parent. And I went through domestic violence with him for 5 years. I would call the police, I would get him arrested. He would, call me from jail and promise me the world. And I would take him back and it would be good for like a week. And then he would start again. And I did it for 5 years. He used to it could be anything. It could be because I looked out the window. It could have been because he woke up and didn't have a cigarette in the morning. It could be because the baby was crying and he wanted to sleep. It could be anything. And he would, instead of using his words, he would use his hands or whatever. And it got to a point where one day he had tied me up and locked me in a room for 3 days. I could not see my
Oh.
baby,
Oh,
anything.
God.
He locked me in for 3 days. I managed to escape through a window and I ran to the neighbor's house and we called the police and he was arrested. Pretty much he got a slap on the wrist. I think he was only in jail maybe 3 weeks and then they released him. In that time, I got a restraining order on him and I had moved from my apartment to another apartment. Now, the whole reason on this teen thing is I hid it from my parents. My parents had no clue I was being abused. They would see bruises on me because that was the key thing. He would never put it where it was visible. Like he never hit me in the face or anything that was visible. It was always somewhere where he knew I could hide them.
Yeah.
And my mom would see a bruise here and a bruise there, and she'd be like, Jenna, what's that? And I'm like, oh, I bumped myself, or oh, I did this, or oh, I did that. And she had no idea I was going through this until the last time when he had tied me up and held me hostage for 3 days. I moved to a new apartment while he was in jail. I got the restraining order. He told me that it was just a piece of paper and the piece of paper was not going to stop him. And that's a hard thing because a lot of people say that.
Yeah.
So I had moved. I thought I was safe. Da 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 da. I was asleep one night. I woke up with him standing above my bed. He found out where I lived. He broke in. I didn't hear him break in. He broke in and he stood upon my bed. I called the cops. By the time the cops came, he had left, and because of that, they could not arrest him because they couldn't prove he was in my house. So it was kind of like, what is the point of a restraining order? Like, I'm telling you he was in my house. You're seeing the broken door. But because you visibly could not see him in the house, we can't do anything. So I eventually moved again. And he called all my family members. He would threaten them in the middle of the night on the phone. He would call my friends and threaten. And it took about 6 months of him doing that every day, every day. Finally, he got the clue. And now I've been happily married for 21 years. But my teen thing is just because I was a teen mom and kids are really, they're in love. They don't want their parents to think their boyfriends are bad or their girlfriends are bad. So you just got to be very like, you know how kids are like, "Oh, you don't need to be in my relationship. It's my relationship." There's a point of being in your children's relationship. Make sure
Right.
that you're aware, of mood changes, things that have changed. I stopped seeing my mom. I used to talk to my mom all the time and see her, and I got to a point where I stopped seeing her. I would make excuses not to
Mhm.
see her. And those are little signs that my mom never caught on to until after I left and I was able to tell her everything. And then all the pieces started to come together. So you're thinking, oh, she's just being a teenager. She don't want to hang out with me. She's always with the boyfriend. Her friends aren't around anymore. Those are signs, not saying that would happen, but
Mhm.
they're signs to be aware of. If your daughter or your son was hanging out with friends and stopped hanging out, but they're always with the boyfriend, it's just something to be aware of because a lot of people don't think it happens in teen years. And it really
Oh
does.
yeah.
It really
It's,
does.
But
it sometimes it
Jenny,
starts
they
there.
do take domestic abuse more serious now than when I went through it. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mario agrees
Yeah.
with me, but
Yes.
they do.
Yes. And what I was trying to get across is domestic violence. You think about, being in the hood and like these women can't leave. It like domestic violence knows no economics, knows
Right.
no boundaries. I have gotten all like kinds of situations coming through my safe house. Um, yeah, I mean, I was fortunate that I knew what to do, even though it was daunting, me being alone with a 2-year-old, 3-year-olds, and a cranky 13-year-old all the time.
Mhm.
That was getting her period. So, I mean, it was scary.
Yay.
I know. It was scary for sure.
Yeah.
And what my ex-husband did was we lived like right outside of Philadelphia, and my family was closer. And because we had 3 kids in whatever 15 months, while I was in the hospital with my youngest because I had placenta previa,
Mhm.
he was looking for houses, literally, and nobody knew this. And he literally bought us a house 50 minutes further out into the
To,
country,
to separate
away
you.
from my to isolate, right?
Mhm.
Away from my support system, like who I had to help me with the kids. My best friend lived across the street. My family lived only an hour away instead of 2 hours away. Yeah, he did that with great intent. So
Mm.
like when they start, or he would like turn off the phone so that I didn't hear the phone ring if my family was trying to call me. He would actually hide my cell phone at the very end sometimes to punish me. Um, yeah, there was a lot of red flags, and all I did was have my one twin watch at 3 years old what he did to me, and I was like, oh hell no.
See, my
And
my daughter was
I was the fortunate one because it's my field, even though I wasn't, practicing. I was a stay-at-home mom, but I knew what to do.
Yeah, and
Um,
that's the difference is like my daughter wasn't 3. My daughter was younger. She was about a year when I finally left. But I
mhm.
never knew the impact it had on her because he was never never towards the kids. It was always me, but he would do it in front of the kids and stuff like that. And I would try to make it so it wasn't in front of the kids. But it wasn't until after I left that I realized the impact it had on my daughter because she used to beat up her dolls. She
Yeah,
would imitate what he used to do to me on her dolls. And she was only a year, but she got that concept. She would hit them against the wall and she would tell them they were bad. And I got her into counseling right away, even though she was a year. It was play counseling, like play therapy. So they could teach her you know, good good things, with the dolls and stuff. Like, I didn't want her thinking this was okay, and I
right.
never realized the impact it had on her. I thought she was 1, she wouldn't understand, but they do. They do
Yeah.
understand. Mhm.
I don't. I mean, I don't ever ask my kids, my little ones, I call them little ones, they're not anymore. They're 18 and almost 17. But my 27-year-old, she was falling asleep in class because she was listening to everything, because he would start drinking at 9 o'clock at night and the abuse would start happening around 1 in the morning. So she heard so much. And I mean, I don't know how long I would have taken it for, but as soon as I knew that my one twin saw it physically and she was 3, I was like, no. And yeah, I mean, I did put my oldest in therapy and the school helped. Yeah, it was,
Yeah, and it's true. A lot of people
and it
say,
still
"Why do
affects
you
her.
go
Like,
back?" Right. A
it
lot of people,
still affects her.
yeah, of course. And a lot of people say, "Why do you go back? Why did you tolerate it? Why?" Because it's not just the domestic violence.
No,
They,
it's finance.
it's financial, it's
Yeah,
mental. They get into your head and make you feel like there is nobody in the
nobody
world
else.
that's going to save you, nobody that's going to want you. Like a lot of people that have never been in that position say that, and then they say, "Well, then why did you leave? Why didn't you leave the first time, but you left the 100th time?"
Right.
For me, it was because I finally got to a point where enough was enough. Like it was your daughter or your 3-year-old walking in. That was your breaking point.
Right.
That was your enough. My enough was the same thing. It was when my daughter was crying and he wouldn't let me get to her because he was too busy, you know, uh, beating me up and I couldn't get to her. That was my straw. But everybody has a straw,
Right.
Right.
because I know a lot of people that haven't been through it are like, it makes no sense. Why would you stay?
Why would
Why
you
would
do
you
that?
allow them?
Just leave. Like it's
Mhm.
not, it's like and I said this before, the emotional abuse is so much
It's just
more
as worse.
powerful than the physical,
Yeah.
the
Yes.
broken bones, the bruises, everything heals.
Uh-huh.
That physical stuff heals. The mental stuff doesn't. It's in your head. And it's real.
It is real because even though when I met my husband, I had been out of that domestic relationship for probably almost 2 years. And when I got with him, we would like get in a normal argument like husband and his wives do. And I would instantly get on the defense. I would instantly be ready to fight. And he's like, "Whoa, like we're just arguing here." And I had to realize that that wasn't my life anymore and I didn't have to do that, but it carries you. And then I'd be like, "Do you love me? Do you whatever? Do you
Yeah.
this? Do you that?" Because
So
I took that
yeah.
baggage with
You're
me.
so insecure. Your insecurities come out, and that's another thing. It's like PTSD. You get it from that because it's
Mhm.
it changes you. That it really does. It changes you. Mentally.
Yeah. It changes you forever.
Yeah.
And like for my kids, so it's kind of a weird dynamic. So my oldest doesn't want anything to do with her father. Like when I moved out of the McMansion, as I called it, to our townhouse, she never slept there again, like ever, from 2010. The 3 little ones, they to this day, they're like, why doesn't Taylor like daddy? Oh, sorry, I said why doesn't she like daddy? I'm like, it's not about not liking him. They really don't remember a lot from, they only know us being separated and divorced. And they don't have any memories. And so they get so annoyed with my oldest, like, you're so mean to daddy, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you guys, she's had different experiences than you did. And they still think, it's awful that, like, she doesn't really care. Like, they'd be like, uh, my daughter's name, she didn't call daddy on Father's Day. Can you believe that? I'm like, yeah. Like, so she did the polar opposite. Usually when you get in that cycle, you look for those qualities in a somebody you're going to be with. She picks somebody total opposite, like total opposite on purpose. Um, and I was like, when she first brought this guy around, I'm like, wow, he's not like any of the other kids you've not kids because she's in her 20s, boys that you've dated. She's like, I'm doing this on purpose, Mom. I'm not going to marry somebody like Daddy. And sure enough, she married somebody that is like, who thinks the world of her, who like will do anything for her. I mean, he sends me flowers, like it's ridiculous. So she went to the opposite end, which I'm happy for, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, she had to fight off some demons, in her teenage years, I would say, definitely.
I think not only does it change you, it changes your children if they have.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It absolutely changes your children.
Now, my 3 little ones, the only thing that I feel, because our communication isn't there, we have to go through an app because he doesn't communicate. And they get embarrassed. Like, they just get embarrassed. They feel uncomfortable when we're together. And I did not want these times to come because I wasn't ready to have these big moments with my children, with him. And my family will never forgive him for leaving me penniless. And they had to come and give me diapers and groceries and cash. And so the kids are just like, can't you just get along for, and I mean, thank God we didn't have a graduation party where, because of the conditions. But even being there that day, it was awkward for me. It was the first time in all those years I actually had to spend like 3 hours with him. And it was just awkward. And my one, she has such a heart. She's like, Mom, I just wish you guys could get along for us. And I feel bad for her. I'm like, I'm doing the best I can, Matt. Like, I really am doing the best I can. But
it's true, though. It does take a long time. I'm reading chat in a lot of like.
I was reading Sarah.
Right, like the flinching or the door slamming or I mean, still to this day, even though I have not been with him in 21 years, every night I still, before I go to bed, I check all my windows. I check all my doors and everything to make sure they're locked because my last incident was him breaking into my house and standing above me, so I still do that. There's still some things that I don't think I could ever not do, but there is stuff that took a long time for me to break out of that cycle, like that, like the flinching or my husband raising his voice and not raising his voice to do anything, just raising his voice because he's frustrated or whatever. And I would instantly go into a panic thinking, oh, what's going to be next? And my husband is so total opposite. Like you talking about your daughter, that was for me. Like when I met my husband, I went totally what I was attracted to and used to, like that bad boy image and stuff. I stayed clear away and I went towards something that wouldn't even, and he's amazing. And obviously I was attracted to him or I wouldn't be married to him, but it was just, he was so different than what I was used to, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So for me, since I had left the big house and my trigger, and it might be minor to somebody and I'm sure you guys are like, what? That triggers you. The ice maker machine in your refrigerator triggers me still to this day. And I don't own a refrigerator with the ice in the door because I knew if I heard that machine, he was going to be drinking more vodka. And then it would only be time. Yeah. It would only be time, before he would be really drunk. And then like he would say, come down here. You know how you would like put the dishwasher on and then in the morning you would like empty it? Like stuff like that. I had 4 kids. I was a little busy, right? At 2:00 in the morning, he's like, get down here and take these dishes out of the dishwasher. Or like, for another example, the washing machine. I put a load of laundry, and 4 kids did laundry 24/7. Was never caught up. He would call me out of bed. Put these in the dryer. I don't want these here overnight. Like, it just was getting worse and worse and
Now,
worse.
Mario, because you're an advocate, say somebody's listening that is in domestic violence and doesn't know what to do and doesn't know
Yeah.
how to get away. What could you suggest
Okay,
to the
so
ones that might be listening that
okay.
are, in that position right now and don't know what to do?
Yeah, so I always say, in every county there's some sort of domestic violence, like hotline, or a place, resources, lots of resources, and they call them. And so we get referrals mostly from actually we get referrals from when they get the like somebody calls the cops, and so and they need to leave like right away, and they don't want to be found. So we get a lot of referrals, but in every county, thank God, there's resources.
Right.
And to get it. So I was a social worker, so I knew I could go to the courthouse and get a temporary protection from abuse order. And he was such an idiot that he didn't show up. So I got an 18-month one, which I probably should have only got it in 2 months.
And like I said before, like, it's not like years ago. There's a lot more. I saw
Yeah.
this thing on, I think it was on Facebook, where a woman can draw a dot on the palm of their hand. And if they feel like they can't tell law enforcement because they're afraid of their abuser or whatever, they can show someone that dot on the palm of their hand, and it will tell people, I'm in trouble, I need help, and I can't say anything right now. Just a dot, you just
That's a
draw
good
a dot.
idea. I never
Yes.
heard of that. That's a
Draw
really
a
cool
dot
idea.
on the palm of your hand so your abuser can't see it. Yeah, I'm not letting
There's
you up.
also,
I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
there's
Another
also
thing
a
I tell
program that was designed by Robin McGraw, Dr. Phil's wife, and it's called Aspire, Aspire. You just go to, like, I think it's Google Play or whatever the app is for machines, whatever. But you can download it. It looks like a news app, like nothing it doesn't draw attention to itself, but you can pre-record voice messages or text messages to people who know the situation that you're in, if you should need help. And also, when you hit it, it will dial 911.
So your significant other would look at your phone and not
And not know
see
what
it
it is.
and think it's just a news app, so they won't click on it. That's
Right. And it's
yeah.
a one-click button to get off of it completely, so that if they walk up and they see you on your phone, you can click that X and it's gone. It's like
Yeah.
they can't pull it back up and see that you were on it.
Yeah.
But just amazing with the technology
Yeah.
that you can get help that quickly. So
Mhm.
if anybody
I
needs
think
that,
law enforcement is taking it a lot. There's been bills passed and things, too many women have died.
And I'm
And here's
sure
the thing,
right, and I'm sure
at the
there's a
hands
lot
of
of
their
women
abusers.
that won't leave because of financial reasons, like Mario said, he left her. But the resources now in the safe haven homes and stuff, you
Morning,
can go
Leon.
without $1, and they'll help you. They'll help you
Yes, they
rebuild.
will. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they will, especially if you have, like, in the shelter I was in, they were wonderful. But I ended up going back. That's the thing. Like, I just didn't think I could make it on my own. I didn't think he had me so brainwashed that I felt like I really needed him. And
Mary,
that's what they
do
do.
you all hear in the shelter, as far as, or in your work that you do, what do you hear are some
She's
of the
gone.
reasons
She
why
hopped
they
down.
go? I'm gonna maybe she's in the chat. Or did she have
If she's here, she can hop back up.
Okay.
I'd be very interested in hearing what she sees in the shelters.
Yeah.
How women,
what are the reasons why they go back? Because listen, we could all sit back and judge, the ones of us that have not been through it. And it doesn't even have to be a domestic violence. I mean, it's not to that point yet where it's physical. It
No.
could just be emotional that they tolerate it so long and they'll leave and then they go back. There's so many reasons to me for women, they're legitimate because they don't know any other answers. So they typically will end up going back. They haven't met those connections that they need to
Right.
give them strength and support and stability. So
Hmm.
they go back. But I was just curious as to what you had heard, Mary, and or anyone else for that matter,
Sorry.
the reasons why people go back.
Okay, Mary's back up.
Yay.
Oh, sorry.
Whoever's trying to get
I
up
know
here,
for
I'll
me,
stop.
when I went back, it was because I wanted that family. You know, I
Yeah.
didn't want my daughter to not be with her father. And how crazy does it sound me saying this to
It's
anybody
not
that
crazy,
hasn't,
though.
right? But anybody that hasn't been, how could you say that if he's doing that every day? But when you're in, I can't even explain that mindset that you're in. You just, you know,
Well,
Well,
and
like
you
Pizza
think
Kitty. Pizza Kitty
women
said one of
say,
the reasons that she stuck around was because he would say, I love you. If I didn't love
yeah,
you, I
yeah.
wouldn't get
I
so
Hmm.
wouldn't get
angry.
mad, or I
Yep.
wouldn't get so jealous, or I wouldn't do
Right.
Yeah.
this, or I wouldn't do
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
And that is so wrong because a comfortable, who's Stop Abuse?
I have
I
no
don't know who
idea.
you are. I don't know who you are, so if I don't know who you are, I can't.
Can't they tell them to turn on
Yeah,
their
cam up,
cam?
cam up,
Yeah. You're
cam
not
up, or you're
on
not coming up.
screen. You're not
Yeah,
on screen. Only
yeah,
Carla can see you.
yeah. You have to cam up or you're not getting up here.
Or write in the private chat who you are and then cam up.
You didn't cam up. You just showed me a blank screen. So I'm sorry, but I can't let you up. Oh, I'm kicking you. Sorry. I can't allow that.
So
remember
statistically,
Just
it takes 7 to 8 times to actually leave.
mhm.
That's like the average statistic. And it's for different reasons. Like you said, the kids, you want that family unit to stay intact, financial stability for sure, and also to keep up appearances, because like for me, I mean, I lived in a upper middle class development and I didn't want anybody to think anything was wrong. We had 4 kids, 5-bedroom house. Um, and I didn't tell any of my neighbors ever.
yep. I didn't
So,
either.
yeah, so there's different factors of why people go back. And you can't judge them. Um, And I can tell you some horror stories, but I won't, of people that have gone back and haven't gotten to leave.
Right.
Yeah. So you just have to, accept where they are, and just make sure that they know that you're there for them and don't be like critical of why'd you go back?
Well, I
You
know
know,
some women have no family support. You know,
yes, that's another factor.
that is another factor, and that is why they
Exactly.
stay. Some stay for forever. Some stay for 20 years. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
stayed for 15 years. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
and he
yeah,
would always
I
accuse me
was,
of like cheating on him.
Yes, that's
Like
the major
he
one.
came to see me
They
at work
always.
and I was on a break somewhere, he'd say, what, who are you meeting? Who are you talking to? It was just horrible.
yeah. Yeah.
Can we get
So,
rid of just the sub? I mean,
Yes,
really, does
please.
that need to be
Yeah, please
really?
delete that person from this channel. Just delete them, block them, whatever. They're just a troublemaker. I don't need that. This is like a serious discussion. We don't need your bullshit on here this morning. So anyways, yeah, so here, yeah. But
serendipity, I'm just reading what she's saying. A lot of women have no self-esteem also. Like their whole lives are in that relationship and they don't think they're nothing without that person,
I did for
even
a
if
very
they
long
are
time.
abusing
people
them.
that have
Yep.
gotten out of an abusive situation do not call themselves victims. They call themselves survivors because when you have gotten out, you have survived. And there are men that have, are
Survivors.
survivors of domestic
Yeah.
And
violence.
that's the one thing that I know that you guys wanted to bring to light today, that it's not just women. There are men out there that are being abused by their wives or their girlfriends. There's no what's the word I'm looking
Who
for?
are in domestic violence situations because they've
It's
got a
not-
really good self-esteem at first, and they think that this guy's great and he's wonderful. Remember, it just goes.
Yeah, I mean, because I work with women, I don't actually see that side, but we actually do in Philadelphia. Not in every county, but I know in Philadelphia they have a place just to deal with like men in domestic violence situations.
Evelyn said there's a program called That's Not Love, aimed specifically at teens and young adults to help them understand the cycle and early red flags of abuse. That's awesome.
That
Evelyn,
is
would you like to come up on panel and talk about this? She works in the mental health field. See, I'm just going by my own experiences. I know everybody's experiences are different, and the reasons that we have gone back over and over are different. You know, there's no set, I don't know, there's no set reason. I guess everybody has a
or
different.
no set time.
No.
Like I said, for me, it was when I could have people tell me, why do you stay? Like they didn't know the depths of it, but they would know because he didn't care if we were out in public or if we were behind closed doors. He would talk to me the same way he would talk. He had no shame. Like he just didn't. He didn't care that he was putting me down in public. He didn't care if he was putting me down in the house. My friends would be around, and if it was time to go and I didn't want to, he would destroy my car or grab me by the hair and drag me out of the party that we were at or whatever. He had no shame. And they would sit there and say, why do you stay? You get him arrested, but then you take him back.
Yeah.
And it was like, I could never answer them until afterwards, after I finally left. And it was like I had to get to that point where enough was enough.
Right.
Because even my mom went through it with my birth dad, and she took it and took it and took it and took it. And she said, one day he came at me. I hit him in the head with a clog, because back then there was clogs.
That was the end of it.
Yeah, knocked him out cold. She said she picked up me and my brother, stepped over him, and never looked back.
Well, and I think an important thing we're forgetting, we actually loved these men. Like we're in love with these men. We weren't with them because, I wasn't with him for his money because he didn't have a lot of money. But I did really, truly love him. I was in love with him. And, there's that, after they do that to you, there's that honeymoon thing. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'll never do it again. And you want to believe it's so bad that you allow it. And I guess okay. Thank you, Mary. Thank you for coming up. Evelyn, would you like to come up? I know she works in the mental health field. I don't know if Miss Demeanor can talk or not. She keeps getting bumped off. Her phone is not.
Yeah, I just found out this morning that Sprint was bought out, I think, by Verizon.
For coming up. It was really informative what you were saying. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
Does anybody else want to come up besides the trolls that tried to get up on my panel this morning and I had to kick off?
I know. Today is like, this subject is not the time.
Yeah, it's like a serious subject. Like, why would you even come in here and start this bullshit? Like, it's, whatever. Whoever you are, you're a loser.
Yeah.
Well, maybe what everybody talked about me so much last night, all night long, maybe there's some truth to that.
Evelyn says she's heading out to work, so she can't.
Oh, okay.
Jody Girl says, smartest thing I did was a lifetime injunction against my abuser. I didn't know you could get that.
I didn't either. I always thought just restraining order, I never knew I could do that either. And like I said, he used to say it's just a piece of paper, and like I said, when they came, they couldn't prove he was in my house. And it was crazy to me. But this was back way before all the laws changed. I mean, I'm really grateful that they have changed the laws and there is way more help out there, you know, than it was when when I was in it. And I'm sure when Carla was in it and everything, there wasn't enough resources, you know. And I think maybe that might have been the other reason why I stayed, because back then there was nowhere to go. There wasn't many resources. You didn't know how to get those resources, you know. I tried my best, like I said, you know, the restraining order and stuff, but it never worked, you know. He wasn't supposed to call my family members, but he would, and then they would call the cops in because they didn't record the conversation. There was no proof that he called, you know. So it was just hard. I'm so glad there's so much more now.
Oh, Puss in Boots, the
Sorry, you were roboting.
it's just huge once they leave. And that's why it's so important to find someplace safe. I know and I don't know if y'all talked about this because I've been bouncing off and on all morning, but because my phone is stupid, but it's ridiculous.
I'm sorry, I mean, I get it though. It is a sad discussion. It is. It's hard to hear, especially people that you know on here that have come out and are speaking, like Mario, me, and Carla. It's hard, you know. It's hard to hear the people you care about have went through that. But for me, it made me stronger. You know, like it did. It made me stronger.
Everything makes you who you are. And you know, people say, "Well, oh, like I don't know how you survived it," but everything you have gone through in your life makes you who you are today. I know some people are going to say, "Oh, okay, made you a bitch." No, it made me, you know, you actually get a little stronger. As far as relationships goes, my second husband, awesome. Not anywhere near what my first husband was. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of different. Like with my husband, it's kind of more I wear the pants instead of him, you know, technically, you know, and where I didn't even have a say when I was in that relationship. I never married him, but I didn't have a say. It was his rules, his way or no way. Well, now it's kind of like my husband, he's just such a blessing. Like I told him when I married him, he saved me. He really did, because my daughter's father was still trying to get to me when even a year and a half later after I met my husband, he was still trying to get me to come back and still harassing me and all that. And all the other boyfriends I had would leave me. They would leave. They're like, we can't handle this. Like, this is too much. This guy's threatening to burn down my house. He's threatening this. He's threatening that. And when I met my husband, he stuck by me. He just was like, I'm not letting him push me away. I'm not letting him anything. Like he can push all he wants and I'm not going anywhere. And it just made me fall in love with my husband so much more. And it's kind of funny because when we got married, our wedding song was Hero, because in all reality, he was my hero. He stuck with me and he went through everything with me and he just made me a better person. So there was a happy ending, just like you, Carla. There is a happy ending.
Yeah. I have an awesome husband, takes care of me. He's like awesome. But, you know, there was a lot of bad years. And
Carla, Remy wants a link.
Oh, okay. Here you go, Remy. I think she has gone through some stuff in life too. She's talked about it. I stupidly went back and got caught together. Big trouble in Little Paradise. Bounced back and forth until we got caught. Thankfully, he was honeymooning at the moment.
Wow.
Hi, Mary.
Hey, niggas. Hey, niggas.
Yeah, get that person off.
Bitch, ugly.
Thank you.
God.
Wow.
You are such a loser, whoever you are.
Good morning.
God, someone
Good morning, Remy.
Someone tell Mary O that someone cloned her account. Oh, good
So,
morning, Randy. Sorry.
To the trolls and that, dude, come on. Like, seriously?
There's a lot of trolls coming in here this morning. It just
I
really,
wonder where they're coming from.
yeah, gee, I wonder.
One thing I wanted to remind you, Carla, just because of it being a sensitive subject, maybe when you're done with the stream, add trigger warning in the title.
Yeah.
But I can totally identify with what Jenna's saying because
Hi, Melinda.
it's basically, it's almost like I'm looking at a mirror. It took me 12 years to leave. 12 freaking lost years. But it started young for me. I was 15. I had no parents. My mom was already dead.
Mhm.
My father is still a piece of shit. I had no support from family. I come from that traditional old Italian family where you don't talk about this stuff. You just deal with it and that's it. That's it. And so I would leave and go back, leave, go back, leave, go back, all that other stuff. And I mean, the broken nose didn't do it. The shattered eye socket didn't do it. The jaw being wired shut didn't do it. The wrist being broken in half didn't do it. The destroying of my cars, plural, didn't do it. Breaking my phones in half because, think about it, these were flip phones.
Mhm.
That didn't do it. And one thing that made me change my thinking, in a way, but I still stayed because I'm an idiot, and I had said this in the chat, is I got out of the shower and I was in a towel, walking into our bedroom. Now we lived at my mother's house. I had to be about 22, maybe. And he threw me into my closet, started choking me.
Wow.
And I said to myself, if this guy's going to kill me, we were the same age. If this guy's going to kill me, I'm going to stare his ass down. And I literally thought that was it. And his mother walks in afterwards. She heard me, the commotion.
Mhm.
Well, what did you do to provoke him?
Wow.
And now this is a woman who also was in domestic violence with his father. They had divorced when he was younger. So there definitely is a pattern. And I looked at her and I'm thinking, I don't give a shit what I did. You don't, what? You know what I'm saying? And after that, it was constant cheating by him. It was all of that stuff. And I had nowhere to go. Nowhere. So that's another, example of staying, of why I stayed, is I had nowhere. So one day I just walked out. I was homeless. I had nothing but the clothes on my back. I went, and I've told this story many times, I went to the cemetery and I slept on my mom's grave.
Oh, wow.
And it was raining. And I talked to my mom and I said, Mom, I can't do this anymore. But when I stood up, I felt like there was a weight lifted off my shoulders. And I stayed homeless for a little while. And finally I begged my father to let me stay there. Now I had no job. He had gotten me fired from all my jobs. I had no car. He ruined them. I had no phone. So I walked about 2.5 miles to my father's and begged him. He said, well, how much time do you need? 20 days? I was like,
Wow.
that. And, I can also understand the emotional abuse, the mental abuse. You're nothing. You're never going to be anything. You're a loser. You're junk. You're this. You're that.
Mhm.
And so I can totally understand why people, stay, man or woman. And I can also identify with Jenna that my boyfriend now saved me.
Yep.
I was literally on the streets,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, "Stay with me."
Jody
I've
Girl
known him
says we don't need
years.
half a person to make us a whole woman.
Exactly.
That is so true.
And he did the same thing that Jenna was saying. My ex would harass us. He actually called my boyfriend and was like, "Oh, I was in your house last night with your girlfriend. That's my ex. I was in your house." And I'm like, "Well, what color is the living room?" Automatically, phone calls stop.
Mhm.
And I have not talked to him, not seen him, nothing. I won't even go into my hometown unless it's for a doctor's appointment or to go to my mother's grave. I won't do it because I won't take the chance of running into him.
Yeah,
Because
I don't
honestly, I
have
think I probably
any.
should.
I don't have any relationship with mine either. I don't.
I
I've
don't
heard
either.
I would say
stories.
that I do not have any children with him.
Heard stories because my daughter still talks to his sisters and stuff, and obviously he hasn't changed. You know, he's gone from one
what I'm saying.
relationship to the other, and
Yep.
history repeats itself for sure.
Yep.
You know, but
The threatening. The,
yeah.
Well, and
Call-
that's another big factor, I think, why women would go back, because they just have in their heart that they can change this person.
That's what
And
I
they
felt.
see them.
Oh my,
They see
yeah.
them as wounded, and you know, I can
And they
fix this. I can be
fixed.
the one to fix it, and you
Well,
can't.
And
Yeah.
women are natural. We want to fix things
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
and
Natural
nurture and
fixers.
stuff like that. Unfortunately, sometimes it's just, sometimes it can happen, through therapy and counseling or whatever. Sometimes it can, but most times it doesn't. So if anybody is in need of any, and my kid is so if anybody is in need of support or anything, we're all here for you. The two lines, hotline and the text number is still on the screen. But
And to anyone that feels like, if I stay, I can fix them. My personal
No.
story is nowhere near anybody else's. Trust me.
Just know that you're not alone.
It was years and years and years of mental abuse, which ultimately ended in physical abuse, and I left. Over the next 6 years, I did go back and try. But when we finally divorced, I really saw a lot of growth in him, and I've seen it over the years. So sometimes you leaving, it's not to say that domestic violence is your fault, but sometimes them losing a good thing
opens their
wakes
eyes.
them up to make some changes. So I mean, always think about that as well.
And remember that you're worth more than being
Mhm.
beaten. You're
And
worth
it's not your
more,
fault. It is not
It's
your
not.
fault,
and you're
no matter
not
what
alone.
they tell you.
Ooh, Miss Pris
Not
said,
fault.
wow,
I
this
was just reading that. Yeah.
sounds like my 10-year nightmare. His mother basically just sat me down to train me everything that I should and shouldn't do to keep him calm. Physical
Wow.
and emotional abuse by a police officer.
Mine was a police officer as well, Miss Chris.
Yeah.
I hear you.
And that's
Wow.
Do you think that him being in a position of power may have
Oh, yeah.
escalated?
Oh yeah,
oh, definitely. I
no
believe
doubt in my mind. I would call 911, and the law enforcement officials would show up. They'd pat him on the back. They'd talk with each other, and they'd leave. I mean, sometimes they wouldn't even talk to me, and I was the one that called. That's not to say, now, don't misunderstand me. I am not saying police officers are all wife beaters or they support wife beaters. They
No.
don't.
that's not true.
I think that he was crafty enough to be able to lie to them and get them to believe his side before they ever even heard mine, if they even got to my side of the story.
Right.
I don't know to this day what he told them, but they left. And he had been
Right.
there long enough. I mean, that was his career. He'd been there since he was 18. He knew everybody. He knew all the judges. He knew all the lawyers. He knew
Yep.
I literally had to leave the state, across the state line, to get him to stop.
That's one
Um,
area that I was kind of lucky with, actually, because the cops hate his family. Literally, they hate his family. So, there was one instance when I had to call the police, and he was flashing around the butterfly knife. I had to be about 17 or 18. They took us both to jail. And I got a stern talking to by one of the female officers who said, listen, this is never going to stop. It's been a pattern in his family for generations.
Oh, thank God for that cop, right?
Yeah, and you want to know the crazy thing?
Huh.
That cop's cousin is the mother of his brother's daughter, and she was beaten by him as well.
Wow.
Yep. So it's a
I'm sorry to interrupt. Frugal. I know on my channel, in my about section is my email. You can always email me. I'm sure Carla has her email
Yeah,
in her
my
about
email.
section.
Anytime you want to talk or reach out to me, you can reach out to me in my email. There are resources. There are you know, the police actually took me to the shelter where I had to, but there are churches, there's shelters, there are more resources now, I think, nowadays, because police do take this seriously. They do realize how dangerous this kind of situation can be. And thank God for that, because it's probably saved countless lives because of how seriously they take it now.
Mhm. There
On
are
the other
a
hand,
ton
it's
of good
still
cops.
happening. It's still happening. Women are being killed every day by, I can't remember the statistics I read last night, but I think every 24 seconds or something like that, a woman is a victim
And
of domestic violence, something like that. And with this, a pandemic, can you imagine if you are quarantined with your abuser and you can't
mhm.
go anywhere? Nobody will take you in. Like, I can't even imagine, you know, how horrible that would be.
Frugal, my name is Jenna Moon. You can find my channel. She just said thank you. I can't see who's talking. So Carla is in her about section, and this is her channel. And my name is Jenna Moon, and my email is in my about section.
Oh, it was Jenna Moon, Frugal. Jenna Moon. She's got a channel. I don't know. Can someone please post her channel in here so Frugal can go there and get her email? Because yeah, we've all been through this. So that's the thing, is we know we know where you're at right now, or we've been where you're at right now.
I know the night that my domestic violence became domestic violence, not just, it became physical. My daughter was scared to death to leave her father because I grabbed my son, some clothes, and my daughter, and she would not leave because she was so afraid he would hurt himself.
Yeah.
Well, I can understand that, but you know,
but the impact that it has
Yeah.
on, on children, is just horrible. I
It
mean,
changes them
yeah, it
because
does.
they love both parents. Okay, picture
they feel
yourself as
torn.
a child.
Mhm.
You love your mom, you love your dad. You see what's going on. It's affecting you, but you're torn, and it's, you know, it's just
When
sad.
my father did it to my mother,
I'm so sorry, Jody girl.
and sorry for the background noise. When my father did it to my mother, it took her quite a long time to say, "Get out, just get
Mhm.
out."
Mhm.
And she actually let him come back because he was broke. You know, he didn't have the house anymore.
Mhm.
I don't know what was going on with him, to be quite honest. I still don't know to this day. You won't talk about it. She actually let him come back, and he tried to curl back in bed with her. She was couch, just because
Jody
she didn't
girl,
want to see him. You
you're
know,
in my prayers, sweetie, Jody girl.
Yeah, Jody girl, me also. I'm sorry if it's like triggering you, but yeah, I'm still in therapy, even though it's been years. I
see,
left that.
I never went to therapy for it. I never went. Should I have? Yes. Should I? Yes.
Well,
But
it's different for everybody. I
of course,
have.
Absolutely the time.
regarding, with this pandemic going on,
Mhm.
even when there wasn't a pandemic, I asked my aunt, who is quite older, and she has, 3 extra bedrooms. I said, I need somewhere to go. Like, I have to get out of here. And, she said, I can't help you. We'll find a shelter. And I'm like, seriously? And it was just everybody gave up on me. And then I ended up going back because there's no support. There was no support, rather.
Anna, I'm so sorry. She said, yes, it does. I'm one of those kids. My dad abused my mom when he was drunk.
Mhm.
And that's gotta be like, I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna say this
sorry.
though too. I came
Ladonna
from.
is right. Please
I came-
remember, even if they don't beat you, verbal
Mhm.
abuse and mental manipulation is abuse, period. Very true.
Oh,
And I'll
absolutely.
say this though too, for parenting.
Absolutely.
I grew up with those, 50s parents, right? And where it was June Cleaver and Ward Cleaver. And we never saw them argue. We never saw them even disagree. So when I married my first husband, who was the abuser, I didn't know how. I was completely unarmed. I didn't know how to deal with any type of an argument or him cutting me down at all. I'd never seen my dad do that. I didn't know where this was coming from. So it was very, very easy for him to treat me however he wanted to because I'd never seen that before. I was pretty sheltered. So,
Yeah.
as parents, like Jenna was saying before, get involved in your kids' relationships and know what's going on with them. But also, I don't know that it's such a bad thing in a cool environment, not heated, to say, Dad and I don't always disagree, but we debate things. I give him my point of view. He gives me his point of view. And this is what that looks like, so that when they do get into relationships that are longer term outside of like high school, as they're older, they know that this is how normal people debate and get their points of view across. That's what's normal. What's not normal is this over here,
And what's, with technology, yes, it's wonderful. It's great. But the harassment now is so elevated. They can text, they can call you, can change your number, etc. They can get you on social media, anywhere. They can stalk you easier.
Yep.
And, the law hasn't, unfortunately, I said this the other day, hasn't caught up with technology when you really think about it. And, it's a lot easier, just like with bullying, it's a lot easier. I found that the mental abuse and the emotional abuse was actually worse than the physical. The bruises healed, but your mind gets screwed with so bad.
It does. That's the worst part of
lose
it.
all confidence.
Bruises heal. Like even if you're severely beaten, I was severely beaten. I mean, at one point when I got the protection from abuse, there was not a part on my body that wasn't bruised. They took pictures of my front, my back. I was completely bruised from top to bottom, and I still went back. Like even after.
Do you guys find that you're desensitized a little bit?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Because
Definitely.
Because I'm very desensitized.
To what? What do you mean desensitized?
To emotion in a way.
And where
Right.
it's almost like it happened to someone else.
Yeah.
Actually
You
worse.
kind of block it out, and I still to this day it's hard for me to show emotion. I could be having the worst day and nobody would even know it because I just kind of block it all out.
I do
I'm
the
sorry to
same.
hear that.
And you block it out
Goodness.
because you're used to blocking it out in order to survive.
Oh, sorry, Miss Priss. After my divorce, I had to move 300 miles away from him.
my
He
gosh.
stalked me while on duty. I was told by his boss and 911 that if he or his cop buddies didn't physically harm me, they were doing nothing wrong.
And another thing that's good with technology, record, take pictures. If YouTube hasn't taught any of us anything, it's
keep a diary.
They have to, yes.
Yeah,
record and take
that's
pictures.
actually a good question because with Miss Priss, I took that as just because he doesn't hit her, or I'm not saying he does, but you know what I mean. Just because there's not physical violence, how is it that mental is not considered violence? It is. We sit here and
It's
say
abuse.
that it is. It's abuse.
Any kind of mental abuse is torture. You're torturing a person.
But for people, like, you can't, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, her calling, saying, I need him out. He's mentally abusing. Well, that's not abuse because he didn't touch you. I don't think that's right. I agree with that.
No, it's 100% wrong.
I think the mental abuse is almost worse than the physical abuse.
Yeah.
It is because
that's
you start questioning yourself.
That's lifelong. Bruises heal. Mental.
Yeah, they do.
Ernie Doran says, my mom has never said a positive word to me ever, even as a child. Asked my older brothers in case I couldn't remember, and they agreed. She has never.
Wow.
Well, that's abuse too. That is abuse. Like,
But thank you for Carla, I just have to hop down. Like I said again, you guys, no one is alone. We're all here.
Yeah.
Please, if you need help, call the police, call the hotline, text. Please also remember that your old cell phone, if your phone gets taken or you don't have access to it at that moment, an old phone can still call 911 even if it's not hooked up.
Yeah.
Alrighty, have a good day, ladies.
You too.
You too, honey.
Thank
Bye,
you for
Remy.
coming
Thank
up.
you for
Bye.
coming up.
Yeah,
Oh,
thank you
no,
so much.
this is a subject I'm very passionate about, and more awareness. I mean, there is awareness, obviously, but
Mhm.
There
it
is a
needs to be
lot of
talked about.
awareness to it too, and
And
everybody
luckily now
has,
more resources
you know,
and more awareness. But
Yeah.
have a great day. I'll see you in the
You
chat.
too,
yeah,
Remy.
you too. My mom has never said a positive. Okay, I already said that. So yeah, and it's important to talk about it. I mean, every once in a while, we're not going to do this every day, but every once in a while, we need to touch on some subjects that are, you know, a little delicate. And I know it's triggered some people in here, but I don't know. I
But
think,
you're doing it for awareness. You're doing
Right.
it not to trigger anybody. And if
No.
it does trigger, like I think Remy made a good idea. Like when you're done with your live, just add that it's a triggering live, so people that don't want to join. But I think doing this does bring awareness, and it does know that you're not alone, and that there are people out there that know exactly where you were or where you are. And what we can, we're all here to help the best we can.
Yeah. And even if it's just to talk about, that you aren't alone, there are resources, and there is a lot of resources now. More than when I was, well, even when I went through it, there was resources, there was shelters and stuff, but there are even more now, and police do take this seriously. I refused to get married or have children until I was 39. My mom had a wake-up call when my husband heard her on the phone and called her out.
Yeah. Good for him. That is awesome. And when you get with the right person and they support you like that, it's just the most amazing feeling ever.
Yeah.
Truly.
I'm gonna jump down. Thank you for having me up, so you guys
Okay,
can
Jenna.
finish
Thanks for
up.
coming up, Jenna Moon.
Thank you so
I'll
much. We
still
love
be
you,
in.
girl.
I love you guys too. I'll still be
Love
in
you
the
too.
chat, but thank you for
Okay.
having me up. All right, bye.
Okay. Bye. Oh,
Yeah, that's true, Kevin. Just talking about it on here could save a life. I'm not saying we're heroes or anything like that, not by any stretch of the imagination. But hearing someone talk or reading someone's text in the chat,
it's showing that there's hope. There is
yeah,
hope
and
to
there's
get away from
support.
it, and there is support.
Mhm.
Really is. And even if it's just like steering you in the right direction, if we can. I'm not saying, we have all the answers, because we definitely don't. But, if it's just, you want to reach out and talk about someone, like I said, no one's going to force anybody to do anything or call
No.
anybody. But, if you just need an ear to listen to or whatever, we're here.
Mhm.
We're here for anyone.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
but I think it's an important subject. I really do.
Me too.
I definitely think that by sharing our experiences with domestic violence, it kind of like shows people, our women and men, there are men that go through it too, that you are not alone. There are, for other people that are going through that. Because I know that's one of the things that my ex did, was isolate me from my family, from my friends. And I think that's a classic thing that they do, is isolate you.
Yeah, they do. They don't want you to have that support.
They don't want you to have any support. Even when I was at work, he would come and stand outside work and watch while I worked.
Mhm.
Like he was just so afraid.
Mhm.
But yeah, that was crazy. That was a crazy relationship. But
And now you're gonna lay in the kitchen floor and fight and make noise. Really? I will say that when she dropped off the puppy this morning, he has a man bun because his bangs are too long. So she pulled him up in a ponytail on top of his head.
who did? Who
My
did?
sister.
Oh my God.
That noise that you hear is her dog.
Oh, okay.
The smallest one with the biggest voice.
Yeah, she got the deep, deep voice, right?
His name is Toby.
LaDonna said therapy sessions and moving away for 10 years helped me and my mom have a positive relationship, but I still keep a buffer between us. That's
You
awesome.
have to. But I
Yeah.
think the biggest thing too is boundaries, being able to set boundaries. And that's hard for many, many, many people who suffer domestic violence, because the reason they got into that in the first place was because they loved them, right?
Mhm.
And then they start seeing the cracks in the wall, and they start trying to patch them as fast as they can to try to help that person and fix them. And they're not there at all to be fixed. They don't think they need to be fixed.
Oh, LaDonna, I understand completely, but I have to fight the impulse to lash out at others with yelling or harmful words when I get emotionally defensive. Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah. And there's certain things that trigger you, even on here sometimes, and I think it's, like,
I'm about to go rile them up, Leo's wife. Y'all want to fight? You want to play?
I'm going to need the background noise to stop. It has triggered my pups.
They're like, we want to get online. Can we go on a panel? Talk to Mr.
They're
Miller's puppies?
always on my panel.
Right?
Those silly dogs. You silly wabbits. You silly wabbits, Miss Priss. After he put his gun to my head several times, I had to escape. I feared for my life. These that I thought would protect me were on his side. 17 years later, I'm healing by being able to speak about it. Oh, Miss Priss, I'm happy you got out of that situation. I know what that's like with having, because he did hold the gun to my head. And, actually at that point, and I'll be honest, perfectly honest with this, at the point he held the gun to my head, I had been going through it for a while. I closed my eyes and I was actually ready for him to pull that trigger. I wasn't even scared at that point. Because I thought to myself, if he pulls that trigger, I'm probably going to be better off than what I'm going through right now. So I wasn't even particularly scared at that point. I just closed my eyes and I waited for it. Of course, he didn't do it because I'm still here, but I wasn't scared because I had gone through so much at that point. It was just like, that's got to be better than what I'm going through right now. I mean, he did stuff like, he hated that I smoked. He would take, I'd be smoking a cigarette. He would pull the cigarette out of my hand and would put it out on my arm or wherever he could, on my leg. He would, in the middle of winter, would stop his truck, pull my shoes off and say, walk home. Like we would be like 5 miles from home. He just was, but of course he would stop and say, get in, and then I would get in.
Jeez, that's cruel. I mean, that's just cruelty.
Yeah, he was cruel. He was cruel. And the cigarettes, I knew he didn't like me smoking, but I needed the cigarettes because I was like such a basket case that calmed me down. Like smoking a cigarette would calm me down. But then if he would get it in his head, not all the time, but every once in a while, he'd get it in his head, he'd pull the cigarette out if it was lit and put it out on my arm or my leg or whatever. So, yeah. Oh, which burns quite a bit, I might add.
Listen to him. Oh my God.
I can hear them.
Hey.
That's how I was when he choked me in the closet. Guess I'm going to die. Better than this. If so, I'm staring at my killer. Yeah, Remy. When he held that gun to my head, I was just like, I closed my eyes and waited. I was just like, I'm not fighting this. I'm just not.
It's this monster now.
Where is this monster now? He's actually mine. He passed away. Karma.
Right.
I shouldn't say that, but no, he passed away from natural causes.
So you didn't like? I'm just saying.
No, I didn't. I did not. I was not. I did not go after. No, it wasn't anything I did. He passed away from natural causes. Yeah, he was cruel. He was very cruel, and he enjoyed it. Like he actually enjoyed it. He enjoyed that I would be like so scared. Like I actually flinched. Like Sarah was saying earlier, I would flinch when when he came near me because I was scared I would get smacked in the face or
Mhm.
get upside my head or whatever. Good Lord.
I know they're playing.
That's worse
There's not
than
another.
Lolly.
Listen,
That's like
there are
Lolly.
right. There's other rooms to play in. Can y'all really scoot? You know, they're like your kids. They
Like
have to be right
Lolly.
up underneath your butt at all times.
Like Lolly. You know how Lolly is like
Mhm.
snoring all the time. I haven't actually heard her snore lately.
I
What
know.
are you doing?
I miss her
Here,
snoring.
all my clothes were thrown out of the window. I went and got them in the snow. Then he threw fruit punch all over them. He ripped up my mom's my pictures. He was almost glad to do so.
You know,
Ah,
and seeing Leo's wife in here and talking about the law enforcement aspect of it and being married to that. Let me
mhm.
just say, and I will be brutally honest, I had far more people that were my friends in law enforcement that weren't, that would give me suggestions, give me ideas, always, always open their door to me anytime I needed it. They worked with him, but they certainly were not his friends. And they, to this day, know what a despicable human being he is. And I still talk to him. One of the girls I was talking to yesterday, Carla, that I
Mhm.
told you lives in Houston. She worked with him, and she's in law enforcement.
And she
And
hates
she's still supportive of me. Yeah, she can't stand him. So
him.
it's not the badge or the uniform. He
Right.
used that against me. He did that, not them. That one person did that to me. Um, and I'm still to this very day grateful for law enforcement in any place I've ever been because they've been nothing but helpful to me. And I don't let that color my opinion of law enforcement as a whole because that's absolutely not fair.
No, it is.
But yeah, there's that. Of course, and here's the thing. This is how dumb I am. Or not dumb. I don't want to say that because we're talking about people who go back into that situation. I would not report him on a level that would cause him to lose his job, and I could have. I could have gone down and showed the bruises. I could have
Mhm,
taken my kids and had them tell what happened. I
mhm.
didn't want to do that because he was good at that at law enforcement. He sucked as a husband, okay, but he was great at other things in his life. Um, so I hate that they have to follow laws. They have to. They're put in a box, and where we need to take action in any respect in this manner in domestic violence across the board is with our legislators, state and federal, and going to them and saying there needs to be a law. Please write a law, get it pushed through, make it into write a bill, get it put into law.
Oh, Leo wife wants a link.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, and I agree, Miss Chris. It was embarrassing. Like I would go to work with a black eye and have to explain it like you can only hide so much with makeup. Good Lord.
I know. Hold on.
Um, uh, I would have to explain, oh, I bumped my head on the steering wheel, or I hit the side of my head here, or I would always have to be hiding my bruises. So, yeah. Hi, Leo wife.
Good morning. How are you?
Morning, sister.
Sweetie.
I'm putting my makeup on for the first time in 2 weeks. I think I'm gonna go out and be human today. So listening to y'all's stories are horrible. I've never been in any type of situation like that. Thank God. I would probably be in prison. I don't see how. I feel my heart just hurts for y'all because I cannot imagine being scared like that every day. I can't imagine it. My husband, obviously is a cop. And I always, he'll tell me stories and be like, well, I went to a house. And then he'll be like, we've been there X number of times in the past 6 months.
Mhm.
And she always takes them back.
Yep.
She always, and when he used to tell me that before I actually knew people who have been in that situation, I was like, why do they keep letting them back in the house? You know, and he's like, well, for different reasons, you know, and he'll explain it to me. But I'm like, but what they would be better off, you know, alone. Why can't they, you know, see that they'll be better off alone? And you know, he, of course, has been trained to deal with domestic violence situations and, you know, knows what's going to probably happen because of the statistics of it. You know, some women just don't, until they've had enough, they don't have a place to go. They don't have anywhere to, you know, for their kids, et cetera, et cetera. And my heart just bleeds for people like that. And I know there's a lot of resources out there for women, but I think it's the embarrassment of it. You know, I used to donate clothes and the kids' toys and stuff to a woman's shelter here. And to look at them, you know what I'm saying? It's like they're embarrassed. I mean, and you know,
And yeah, and that's true. A lot of women drop the charges. Like I know I did several times drop.
And what Remy's saying, that sometimes you almost become addicted to the cycle of it,
right,
where
right.
you're used to that chaos in your life, and that's very true. I told my ex-husband one time, and this is before the physical abuse started. I said, "You're gonna put me in a place at some point, if you don't stop this, where I resent you so much there'll be no turning back."
Mm-hmm.
And I think
Well,
that's
you
what
gotta
every woman says to
police
herself.
officers, when they walk into a domestic violence situation, they're as scared as you know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah,
It's a
that's one of the
volatile
that's one of the
situation.
most dangerous calls to go to. Actually, is the domestic violence. But you know, and a lot of police wives and military wives are abused, and they won't go tell anybody because of the position of their husband. And I don't think it's so much as their position, as far as maybe in some places, I can't say that, but that nothing will be done. But I think it's the embarrassment of it because your husband is a police officer or somebody in the military. Well, if they lose their job, they'll be shunned, you know,
Right.
because, you know,
I
they're
felt that way.
you know, upholding the law, and they're breaking the law every night when they come home, you know, and that is why, you know, police officers have one of the highest rates of divorce, is because when they come home, they have to decompress, and some people just don't know how to do it healthy. You know, they either turn to a bottle or abuse their family or both. I mean, it's, you know, and I know that's like, I like that in a lot of jobs, but especially with law enforcement, military, any high stress job, to where when they come home, they can't handle, you know, they can't calm down or take themselves down to the next level until they've released somehow.
Right.
And it is sad. It's very, you know, it's very sad that so many women suffer in silence, and you would never know that they are, you know, a victim of domestic.
A lot of women suffer in silence too. They
Yes.
don't want to say, they don't even want to tell their friends
Or
like,
family, yeah.
no, or their family.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the isolation, that an abuser will isolate you from everybody and make you feel like, and I went back several times. I even had a protection from abuse pulled up on him, but I went back.
But
Donna,
now,
you're so right. You're so right. The name calling, verbal jabs, daily negativity, it all, that's when I told him, you're going to put me in a position where I'm going to resent you completely. And that's when we went to therapy. He insisted, because, you know, it was for me. I was the one who needed therapy. But when we went, the first time we went together and we talked to the therapist, then she wanted to see us individually. So we went back the next week individually. I walked into the room for my appointment and she said, I really don't need to see you, to be honest. If I could recommend a good divorce attorney, I would, but that's unethical. But I'm telling you now, you need to get out of this. I said, okay. He went for his first solo visit. they were in there for like 3 hours, and he never
Mm.
went back. He never went back, and that's when the physical violence started.
Yeah, and I know in the last 20 years that my husband's been a cop, domestic violence calls as far as somebody's going to jail has gotten better. When he first started, even if both people had a mark on them, they
Mhm.
would just say, okay, one of you need to leave.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, if you have a mark on you, somebody's going to jail. It's
Mhm.
not, there's no question. It's not up to the woman. It's not up to the man.
Mhm.
If he bloodies your nose, he's going to jail. If he, whatever. If you have a fingerprint marks on your arms from where he grabbed you, he's
Mhm.
going to jail. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Where before the woman had the choice of whether to send him to jail or not. And I think that's a lot better because that way she doesn't have to make that choice.
Yeah.
She doesn't have to say, yeah, I want to press charges. So I do think that part has gotten better.
It has, yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I have a channel. Anybody wants to email me, my email's on my channel also. But I'd be glad to listen. I mean, I'm not a professional at it. I've never, I haven't personally been through it. I've known women who have been through it, but
She
I'm
has the perspective of law enforcement.
right, and I might be able to help. Right,
Yeah.
and that,
Mhm.
Or steer you in the right direction or
Mhm.
whatever. Can someone please post Leah Waif's link?
absolutely. And I'm willing to listen to anybody, and I'm not a show and tell girl. I don't go and
Mhm.
tell people,
Uh-huh.
what others have told me.
Right.
But yeah, definitely. I'd be more than happy to listen. I mean, if that's all, that might be all somebody needs one day. It's just somebody to listen.
Mhm.
And I would be glad to listen. So
Yeah, because there's no shame in sharing, sharing with someone. There's no shame. I was shamed. I was ashamed of for myself to tell anybody because I thought, people would say, well, why are you staying? What are you
Mhm.
doing still there?
right.
Why did you keep
Shaming
going
you.
back? Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of shaming you. And that's what I never understood. Like I said, when Eric first started being a police officer, I'm like, but why do they keep going back?
Mhm.
Don't
Mhm.
they know that next time they might be dead,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever. And it took some time for him to explain to me, just imagine if I did this to you and we have 2 young children and your parents didn't live here or you didn't have parents.
Mhm.
Where would you go? If you don't have, you waitress, where are you going to go with a waitress and day?
Mhm.
Right. And
That's
add on top of that
Exactly.
the fact that you love him. He's the love of your life.
right.
And all of a
Right.
sudden he becomes this different person.
Mhm.
Mhm.
There may have been signs along the way, but we brush those off and think it's okay, I can fix this. It's all
But
right.
I think it can happen at any time in a relationship.
Oh yeah.
Something could happen to mine at work and give him PTSD or
Mhm.
Oh,
whatever.
of course. Absolutely.
And then he could totally change into a different man after 27 years. I mean, it can happen at any point in a relationship. It doesn't
Mhm.
have to be, when you first
From the
meet.
beginning. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, anything can change a person's mental stability. Um, losing a family member, losing a best friend, anything can, that's why people in the military, when they come home, they have to go to decompress,
Mhm.
and go through classes and stuff because of stuff they've seen overseas, and learn how to deal with it. And some people can and some people can't. And it's just a shame. It really is how, people can change over an incident in their life that will make them a totally different person.
Right.
Um,
Right.
I have a
Well,
friend whose husband was in the Marines and he went over to Desert Storm. He was in the front lines. He was one of the first people over in Iraq. Well, obviously he was a Marine. He was on ground. So it wasn't, flying over. It was shoot and kill. And when he came home, he was a totally different person.
Mhm.
Not physically abusive, not mentally abusive, but just distant, just a totally different person. Like he wasn't even there half the time. And they ended up getting a divorce after 32 years because he just wasn't there anymore. And it's sad how things can change, in a blink of an eye. And you don't know. I mean, she knew what happened, but some people don't. Some people don't know why their spouse has changed overnight,
Mhm.
Or boyfriend or what, significant other, whatever.
Right.
So, but yeah, definitely if anybody needs to talk, I have an email. You can email me anytime. And that's about it.
Thank
You're
you
so
so
awesome. I
much.
love you, Leo's wife.
You are, yeah.
I love you
too.
too. Y'all have a great weekend. I'm gonna go. I gotta run errands and deliver orders.
Well, go out there and look pretty and have an awesome day.
Yeah.
I will. Y'all have a good day too.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Take care.
I'll be in chat. Bye.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye. So there you go. There is help. There is, and whoever keeps trying to get up on my panel, I click those 3 buttons and it tells me who the hell you are. So stop it. You're going to be banned every time you try. The last time he tried to do, he cloned Jenna Moon. He cloned your account, by the way. So
Wow.
quit it, you idiot.
Well, we're sitting here talking about, domestic violence and abuse.
Right. And
And you have
emotional abuse
people.
and stuff, and you have people that are coming in here
Mhm.
doing this crap. Like, stop it. Like, what is wrong with you people? Like it says, and when you click on the 3 dots, it actually says whose account it is. So there's that.
Yeah.
When you're
Amber
cloning an
K, I
account,
know.
my dear.
I totally agree with Amber K. I don't speak about stuff like this usually because we have disgusting humans around here that like to use our pain for their amusement. That is so true.
Exactly. We are,
And
and we've
that's
seen
why
it
we.
over and over again.
Mhm.
But, it has to be talked about. I think it's an important issue. It has to be talked about, but we can talk about happy things too. And we can go on to different things unless somebody wants to tell a story or has something else to add to everything. Quiet.
I don't know.
Quit making so much noise.
Who, me? I know, right?
Yes.
I know. So I don't know. What's your plans for the weekend, Missy?
My
You got
plan.
company. You got company coming, don't you?
Oh, yeah. I can't say on here, but
No.
yeah, I'm gonna
That'll be
go.
fun.
I'm gonna go meet somebody.
That's awesome.
Yes, I am. And
Well,
it's
that's
good.
good.
Yeah, I'm excited. Hi, Kimberly. It's a topic that can help someone. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate that. I'm not ashamed anymore. If it will help just one person, it's worth it. Exactly, Turquoise. That's why we decided to do this live. But you may have helped someone this morning, if even just one. It's awesome. Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I know we triggered somebody this morning, but some of us have taken, have gone through years of therapy, so it's going to affect different people different ways. So, but
That's true.
it's important to talk about our stories and
Yes, ma'am.
ourselves, what we've been through. And there's, triggers for certain people. So, but so what
That's
are you
true,
doing?
Amber K. That's such good words. Just know that if you're in a bad situation, you're better than you deserve, and you deserve better. And all you have to do is tell someone. Right.
Exactly. You're awesome, Amber K. Thank you.
That's scary as hell, I know, but once
It
you
is
do,
scary.
then you've got people who
There's resources.
they'll be there for you. Mhm.
There's churches, there's all kinds of places to go. Like, I was scared to death the first time I went to a shelter. I mean, I was scared to death because I
Did you
didn't
ever?
go to arrest.
I know that they took you there, okay,
Mhm.
but did you ever feel like when you were there that you were wasting their resources because other people had it far worse than you
Yes.
did?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
because a lot of women, when we did the group therapy. Oh
Mhm.
my God. And older women, like all ages, like younger, older. And I would think, I don't have it that bad. Like I really don't compared to some of these people, in here.
Mhm.
Yeah, I did. I honestly did. But there's a different story, there's a different story for every person.
There is. That's
So
true.
don't downplay what you're going through because, it's all serious. Because what I found out with my ex was it escalated. It went from, you know, it went from 0 to 60.
Yeah.
So, and
And that's so
eventually,
hard.
probably had I stayed, I probably wouldn't be here today. I'm not
And that
sure, but
and that maybe be another reason that people don't think of why women go back when they go into like shelter situations or therapy situations and it's group and you hear other women's stories. I know it's happened to me this morning, thinking, oh, well, my situation was nowhere near that. I could understand going and telling people or getting help if my situation was like that. But that's not the thing.
right.
It is what it is. It's domestic
Mhm.
violence. It
It is.
doesn't matter the severity. It's the
Mm-mm.
fact that it's happening and it will get worse.
It will
You know?
escalate because,
Yeah.
first of all, and especially if they're not getting help or getting any kind of therapy for what they're doing, because seriously, it only got worse for me. It just kept escalating and escalating and escalating. Until, like I
Right.
told you, when he held that gun to my head, I swear to God on my children's lives, I just closed my eyes and said, just do it. Like,
Mhm.
get it over with, because I didn't want to live like that anymore. Like, I wasn't even afraid. That's at the point where, when you're not even afraid, if they pull that trigger. And he wasn't even supposed to have a gun because of, his prior.
Right.
He wasn't even supposed to have a
Mm-mm.
gun. He had a gun, obviously.
Right, Kevin.
And
Some people don't realize how bad their situation is because they've been in it so long. Like you can't see the forest for the trees.
yeah,
That's scary too.
right.
My tongue hurts so bad.
Why?
Because of this tooth?
Did you bite your tongue? Is it like jagged? Is it like
Oh,
up
oh,
against
girl.
your
Yeah.
tongue?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah,
Okay,
it is.
that's the worst. That
Yeah.
is the worst when it's like, and then you get like kind of like a canker sore on your tongue. I don't
Mhm.
know. It's called a canker sore. I would sit. Where was that?
I don't know.
Wait a minute. Well, I'm reading a comment here. Pizza. I would sit on the toilet praying to God for him to pass out. It was rape, laying still
Mhm.
and crying. Oh my God. I'm so
Mhm.
sorry, Pizza Kitty, that you went through that. You went through it for 16 years. Thank God you got out of it, you know. And thank God, rest in peace, all the women that have, not gotten out of it and have suffered the
Yeah.
ultimate abuse, which is, murder.
Yeah.
Um, you know, we were talking earlier about these stories, like the Tracy Thurman story. I mean, I think, did they pass a law because of her? I think they did pass a law
Yes,
because
they did. They did, and I think it was related to the domestic the uh she kept going to get restraining orders and they wouldn't follow through on them. And she would call and he would be at the house and she'd say, come, you need to come over here. He's here. You need to do something about this. And they were like, either it would lapse and they wouldn't remind her or they thought it had lapsed. And there was just a bunch of bureaucratic crap going on with her
Mhm.
to get any kind of protection whatsoever. So it
Sure.
changed those laws.
Mhm.
Um, and nail emery board and file it down. Oh, look, girl, no, I can't touch it. I cannot touch that tooth. You have no idea. It's if my top teeth touch that bottom tooth, yeah, I'm in the floor.
Yeah.
So I think it's the way I'm having to hold my mouth in order for nothing to touch that's caused like little sores everywhere. And then dumping BC powder on it to get the
You're
pain to
welcome,
stop.
Pizza Kitty. You're welcome.
Pizza Kitty,
Unfortunately,
thank
there's
you for
been,
sharing thank you for
yes, thank
sharing.
you for sharing your story. And to all you trolls that keep coming in here and, just get a life or something, please. We don't need your garbage. Not this morning. This is a serious discussion. So yeah, and keep in mind that I can check if you have an authenticated account. All I have to do is click on those three dots, and it tells me who you are. So, but anyways, what are you doing this weekend?
You know, I don't know. I don't think Mike's working this week. I think he's off. It's supposed to rain, it's supposed to like deluge like at 1. So he did all the yard stuff yesterday because we flood. If we get a really heavy rain for several hours,
Mhm.
there's water in our house.
Right.
So, because that's the situation that we've put ourselves in. Oh, I love my mother. Anyway, I'm serious. I was trying to talk to her about it the other day. I'm like, well, so listen, if anything, when something happens to you, because she's 85. I mean, let's be realistic. And we're very well versed with death in my family, just saying it is what it is. So we talk about this openly and honestly. It's not a big deal. We literally planned my dad's funeral every single year since I was 2 years old. So we're not above talking about this. So I said, so this is when we were going to the eye doctor. I said, so if something happens to you, what are we supposed to do with all these properties? I'm just asking. She goes, what do you mean? I said, well, we're going to have a lot we have to pay taxes on, and who's going to live where and what are we going to sell, or what do you want us to do? Just trying to feel her out for this because I'm clueless. I mean, any death in our family has always been taken care of by somebody else instead of myself and my sister. My sister won't be able to do anything. Just trust me. So it's going to fall on me, and I know it. So I'm trying to kind of get prepared ahead of time to know what I need to do. So I asked her, what are we supposed to do? She said, what do you mean? I said, well, what, run through, sell it, keep it, rent it, what? And she said, well, what was your ideas? So I gave her my ideas, which are very sound and principled, and I've thought about it for quite a while. Talked to my sister about it, whatever. And she said, well, I'm just going to have to write a will. I'm like, okay, you won't. For one, you haven't done it yet. And yeah, okay, whatever. So I don't know. Maybe that's her way of saying do whatever. But this house definitely is getting sold. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I will. I will contest the will and claim she was insane because why would you keep a house that floods every time it rains? I don't know.
So I love your name. It's been very interesting listening to everyone's experience. You really are strong, beautiful people. I work with teenage children who were in homes where there was domestic abuse.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
the impact that it has on those kids. And like I said earlier,
right.
though, too, the fact that there is no argument whatsoever in your household is
Mhm.
not a good idea either. So you got to meet somewhere in that middle. You
Right.
don't want domestic violence and chaos and craziness going on, but then you don't want picture perfect, leave it to beaver crap going on.
Oh,
There has to be a middle where, look, relationships are not a smooth thing.
no.
They're bumpy and they're rough sometimes, but they're not to the point of hurting someone emotionally or physically. And you can't hide your feelings in a closet from your kids. So you got to be somewhere in the middle where you discuss that stuff rationally, calmly. Yeah.
Misdemeanor is always calm. I don't think I've ever seen her go off on anybody except
Really?
for me.
Really?
Off on me.
You haven't been around much, have you?
No.
No, I try not to. It's an ugly thing.
I remember a
can be
couple
pushed.
times when you went on me.
I can be
You went
pushed to
off
a
on me.
point where I'm going to say something. But
Thank you. Me too. I get triggered. I'm human.
yeah, I would see, Remy, I don't have any idea how that works. I don't, and I'm dreading it. And I really wish she would write a will. My dad did, and I think it did a great service to my mom to have that. Because you're already emotional when somebody passes away, and then you've got to make these decisions that you shouldn't have to make that soon after somebody dies, but you do. So I don't know, it just makes it so much simpler. Precious so and so. That is so cute.
I know. Isn't that a cute name?
I
was
love
just
that
saying,
name.
That is like a lovely name. Like I just love it. It's
Yep.
cute. There's some really you know, ingenious people with their names on here. Like they have like such a imagination. That will the estate will be Huff. talk much, Carla? Jeez.
What? How did you
Thanks
say
for
it?
doing that, precious so and so. Yeah, that's awesome that you work with children.
So I
Yeah,
don't know what we'll do this weekend.
about domestic abuse between a wife and a husband, kind of, or girlfriend and boyfriend, but there's also, abuse from parents to, parents to children, elder abuse. We didn't really touch on that much, but there is elder abuse. Um,
Oh God, that's horrible. Yeah.
yeah, the elder abuse is horrible. Ask for power of attorney.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh,
for sure. I
or
wish I
your
had it
sister
right
will.
now.
Or your
Oh shoot,
sister
no.
will.
Listen, we're already having we're having the debate over who's going to take her car keys away when that has to happen. And I went to the doctor yesterday because my blood pressure was a little high at the dentist. Yeah,
Oh, Pizza
like
Kitty says, Mr. Carla misdemeanor. Great chat. Gonna go watch some Green Acres. Need a laugh.
right.
Well,
I want to see Green
talk
Acres.
about some funny stuff. Like we
Oh, we're
usually
going to.
do. We usually, yeah. We're
I
away
saw,
from like the heavy stuff now. We're gonna be talking like porn stuff, and
are we?
I
Oh.
don't know.
I told my doctor yesterday because my mom goes to the same. He's a nurse practitioner, and I had to go to get blood pressure medication, or they wouldn't take my teeth. That the 2 teeth they need to extract, they wouldn't do it until then. They want to get rid of the infection anyway, but that was a good time for me to go do it. So I went to go see him, and we started talking about my mom because HIPAA doesn't exist amongst nurses, right?
No,
So
of course not.
yeah. I said, well, you get to do this. He's like, no, she's not going to listen to me. I'm like, I know, because I was trying to ground her because we're Corona, here, everything's shut down. Yet she insists on going and buying flowers and potting soil and going out in the general public at her age, but I have a mask. I'm like, okay, right. Do you have a cape too to go with your mask, Superwoman? And
I don't know. I don't know how much good those masks are. I mean,
they're
I
pitiful.
don't really think they're doing much good, at least not for me. Hey girls, tell me how I stopped beating myself up for leaving almost all my preps behind. I'm disabled, so I can't move them all. The new buyer will get everything I can't take.
Mm,
Leaving
mm,
what behind?
your preps.
What's that mean? Oh,
Are you talking about like handrails and things like that, or?
oh, maybe.
Yeah, we have.
We go to get like some kind of go to law enforcement and get some kind of thing where they can escort you to the house to get it. I don't know. I don't know how that works.
Do you have to leave them behind because you can't tear them down and then set them up in your new place? I'm kind of confused.
Oh, maybe. Hmm.
Right, Kevin. Well, it's just my sister and I, Kevin, and we're very, very, very close. I mean, she's my best friend. Tawanda, have an awesome day, sweetheart.
Oh, hi, Tawanda.
Kiss a
Nice
cow
to
for me.
see you. I've been listening. Love you. Got my morning exercise. Had to get the cows in at 4:30 a.m. Damn people opening gates. Tawanda. We love you, Tawanda. Thanks for coming in. I love seeing her in the mornings. I know she's busy lady. Always busy. I'm not sure what you meant by that,
I'm
Fugo.
not either. I want to move to Tawanda's and go to work for her.
I told you. Why don't you ask her for a job? I told
She
you.
said to come up there. She needs help.
Get a job.
My husband would be so happy. Are you kidding me?
Get a job as a meat cutter. I know she doesn't like to be called the butcher. She likes to be called the meat cutter.
Meat cutter, right?
Yes. So get a job as a meat
Okay,
cutter.
so food and water and supplies that I've put back because of COVID. Can't carry it onto a truck myself and then unload it. Okay, I will tell you this. In our area here, we have at our local university, kids that they'll rent a truck and they don't charge an arm and a leg. They're not like most movers. And they'll load that stuff up, take it to your location and unload it and put it wherever you need it. So you might want to check into that and just see, call the college, I guess even the registrar's office, you may want to talk to them and just say, do you have such a thing? Do you have a group of kids that like move stuff? I don't know. Now they'll be off campus, but they may be able to have contact with somebody that will do that. I'm trying to think of who else would do churches, but I hate for you to lose all of that frugal. That would be horrible. That's true too, LaDonna. Sometimes getting rid of stuff is mentally healthy. Can y'all hear me? Or did Carla go poop? Can anyone hear me? Carla? Can you hear?
Sorry, I had to go potty. Geez.
She was pooping.
Like,
I knew
no,
it.
I wasn't. You know what? After 2.5 hours of sitting in this chair, I had to go to the bathroom. I confess. Here's a confession. Somebody screen record this. I had to pee. Oh my goodness. I really want to thank you all for treating me like I'm welcome here. It means a lot. I wish every channel and chat was like that. Oh, Miss Chris, of course
We're
you're welcome.
glad you're here. We're glad
Yes.
you're here.
We are very happy that you are spending this time with us. And Frugal, you too. I don't remember seeing you, but
Hey, Tatum.
welcome. I won't forget you. That's for sure. Hey, Smokey,
How
how you
I would
doing?
check with your local churches too, Frugal,
Oh yeah,
because they
that's
may
a
have,
good idea.
men who are like
Local
retired,
churches.
who do different things like mow yards for church members or for the community, or
Uh-huh.
moving stuff like that. Mm-hmm.
Hey, has anyone seen Rhonda?
I have not.
haven't. I have not.
I'll say that. Oh, too. Also, look on Frugal. Look on your Facebook community page too, because people will advertise stuff like that as well. Be careful, but you know what I'm saying. But I hate for you to leave that behind. That's a lot.
Native Revival says, look up chiffon and sateen 600 thread count masks. They have tested fabrics, and chiffon makes an electrostatic barrier in the mask that will filter 80 to 100 nanos, which is the size of a virus.
Huh.
I had no
That's
idea.
interesting.
I had no idea.
And how are you this morning, Creative Revival? It's good to see you again.
Mhm. I did hear someone address Rhonda the other day in a chat. I mean, not sure if same Rhonda though. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I've reached out to her and haven't heard anything back, so I don't know.
We have to keep in mind she's on the other side of the world. So
Yep.
when we're awake, she's sleeping. So
Yep.
hey Tatum, how are you this morning? Darling. Hey y'all. Bye y'all.
So what are you doing this
Everybody
weekend?
in chat, and that lays on this.
I
that
want to
lays
watch
eyes on this.
movies.
When?
I want to watch movies this weekend. I hope it rains all weekend and I can just lay in the bed with my husband and watch movies.
Lately I've been finding some awesome movies on Amazon Prime. Like really, like I've been
Smokey, I love you.
Yeah, Smokey's awesome. I wonder if Dova's still in here. I want to address her, like, personally. I do.
Yeah,
How
we
much
do. We do
Dova
that,
said I
LaDonna.
was. I just want to address him. I think her feelings were kind of hurt by something that Mandy Bell put out there. And I just want to explain. I mean, yes, craziness. I probably was mad at her that day, whatever I said. I apologize if Dova, if you're watching this, I apologize from the bottom of my heart to hurt your feelings. I was maybe mad or my nose was out of joint that day, but if it hurt your feelings, I'm sorry, because I really do respect and like you both, you and Whiskey. So
Smokey, you're not a dope head.
Hey, Robbie.
You're doing some amazing and important work in this community. And I know that far more people appreciate what you do than don't appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
Please know that, and please don't give up that fight.
And you're doing a good job.
You
If
are.
there- You know what? And everything's a process of learning. Like you have to learn, like, you know, whatever, whatever you're doing is working, obviously. People are liking it. And so, you know, said they can tell by my eyes and they will be looking at my arms. Oh, for goodness
Well,
sake.
those are some really special people.
Well, I
That
wonder
mean-
who those people are. Are they
Right.
anonymous? Because usually it's the anonymous ones that are very critical.
Mhm.
Mhm. We love you,
I-
Smokey.
I'm jealous, Tatum. Come pick me up on your way to Gatlinburg.
Why are you jealous? Where's she going?
She's going to Gatlinburg for a wedding for the weekend.
Where's that?
She just said that to make me jealous. I know what she's
I
up
don't
to.
even know where that is.
You never heard of Gatlinburg, Tennessee?
No.
Carla, I'm just gonna have to go
We need
get
a
you.
road trip. We really do. We need a road trip. You know, somebody, our friend might be just landing pretty close to me right now. Not landing, but you know,
Oh
arriving.
yeah.
pretty
Oh
close
yeah.
to me.
She
I'm gonna
should
have to
be.
look at that address. Yeah, definitely.
Go run down there and take her some key lime
Oh,
pie. Yeah, bitch.
oh, I didn't make any. I did not make any. I have not been doing
Save
anything.
Robbie.
I told you. I said hello to him. He said
Hi,
no.
Save
And
Robbie.
he
Well,
went
I
in.
thought about you all day yesterday because every time I was in my car, I would I had it on repeat.
Every time I don't
Um,
come up or stop in the middle, I go get a hit and then cook. Oh, come on. Oh, I don't know who said that, Smokey, but loser. We don't
Good
believe
Lord.
that. Creative Revival says, I like sewing and fabric.
Come on. Yeah, come
Oh,
get me.
oh, you were making them. Creative Revival. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
I don't know. They sure know a lot about dope to
you.
be pointing fingers at other people.
Hey,
That's
Bay
all I know.
Beauty. Bay Beauty's saying, Smokey, please keep being you. You have more love and support. Wait, I lost it. It jumped up. You have more love and support than you know, Ashley. Yeah, you do.
I sing that song in my car a lot, Save Robbie. Really loud and I'm sure off key, but whatever.
Which song? Oh,
Beautiful by what's her name? Christina Aguilera.
I didn't hear
Frozen.
any of this, but I don't believe any of it either. Where was this said, actually, Smokey? You want to come up for a minute, Smokey? Smokey always cans up when he comes up here. Always. I don't know who would say that hurtful thing to him. You want to come up, Smoke? I'll put the link in here, and you losers that are trying to get up on panel that aren't our troll accounts, I'm checking with the 3 dots.
Donna.
Who you are, for God's sake, so stop.
That would be considered
loser.
a complicated adoption, LaDonna. Exchange
Exactly.
your brother for Save Robbie.
Yeah, that would be, huh? What do you mean, Remy? Who said that?
What?
That's about it. Some other bullshit about my mom, and who would say that? I ain't gonna lie. I'm all good though. It was anonymous. I did a video telling my mom. It is a good one. Oh, anonymous, of course. Don't we get those in here all the time? Don't have the guts to say it on their own name, but they'll say it anonymously. Yeah. Yo, y'all, I can't working, but I'm gonna go live later. Woo woo. Love y'alls. Love you too, Smokey.
Love you too.
No, Smokey, people are dicks.
I will,
Exactly.
LaDonna. If I'm ever headed that direction, you're the first person I'm letting know so that we can get
Oh,
together and do
Ems, do
something.
you want to come up, Ems?
Yes.
Lordy, come on up for a minute. We need like a happy distraction from all the
We
bullshit
do.
that's going on. These people are just ridiculous.
People are
Redonkulous.
dicks.
My sister always said, "You're redonkulous."
Carla, remember that for M's tribute to the merch stuff? Like a hoodie that on the back says, people are dicks.
Yeah. I love her.
with a lady sipping a cup of coffee as she's
Mhm.
saying it. Yeah.
People are dicks. People are. People are.
It's just unbelievable.
They mess with you. They play the, you know, what's funny is they play the victim. But they're the villains, you know. Villains play the victims so well. Oh, poor me, poor me, poor me. Who? Effing who? But there are a few people I probably hurt with some of those text messages, and those few people, like Dova and Whiskey, I'm sorry. I sincerely apologize. The other ones, I own what I said. Whatever.
Smokey, I love you. I'm so impressed by what you're doing. I honestly
Yeah.
am. You
Yeah.
need to shut out all that negative crap. You know, for every
And he
one
doesn't
negative
need an
comment, it takes
instruction.
like 20 to overcome that one
Right.
negative comment, which is bullshit.
And I
Somebody
don't
needs to
think he
rewrite
needs-
that.
I don't think he needs instructions on how to run it. He ran it.
No.
He did it. The first night was a hit. The second night was another hit. So whatever. Almost ain't tell, but I had to, man. It was a little
Butt
too
gargle?
much. Yeah, it
I
was
gotta
much.
go look up the butt gargle. What was the butt gargle, Samara? Get up
Was
here and
what?
tell me about the butt gargle. Smokey
I
did
don't-
I've seen it and I'm scared to click on it.
What is a butt gargle?
I know. I don't know if I want to know.
Hey, Jane. How are you, sweetheart? Jane the Teach. Jane the Teach. Come on. Come on, guys. Come up. Come up. Come up, please. We're trying to steer it away from like the heavy
Hi,
stuff
Jane the
that we
Teach.
talked about earlier and steer it into a more positive direction. More fun.
Well, I don't know what the butt gargle. Oh, now it's gonna jump. Now I have to see it.
Uh-oh, she
Now that
said
I
it was-
know.
it's so stinking funny.
Well,
Like,
since
like,
other people have seen it
yeah.
and survived, I'm probably gonna have to look at it.
Well,
That's the
then,
thing.
yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to look at it now. I can't wait till Robbie does the video about us. Oh,
What?
Sally the hamster is in it. Yeah, I really do. Because I love her attitude.
I have beef with me, misdemeanor. I don't get it.
Oh,
What is
that does suck.
Wait, what's
Jane
about the
has to
beef?
fast. Oh my God, I hate fasting. You're so starving by the time you go there.
Why do you have beef with me, Amber Kay? What did I do now?
Uh-oh.
Dear God.
What did she? What's her
LaDonna,
beef?
LaDonna will save
I
me.
know. Like when everybody says that, I have a beef with you. I have a question. Oh my God, what did I do now? Good Lord. Someone dropping your private messages.
But it's a butt gargle,
Yeah.
so that makes me. Ugh.
Oh, I am no fan of fasting. Yeah, I'm not a fan of fasting either.
Uh-uh.
That's why I put on the pork.
Mhm.
That's why I have put on the pork. Yeah, I hate fasting. Major beefage. Ooh, Amber
What
has
major
major,
beefage do you have? What did I do, Amber?
I hope it's with you and not me. I have enough going after me. Come on.
Right,
It's your
right.
turn. It's your turn for a change.
How to survive
I
the beef.
cheated when I was supposed to fast, not going to lie. I ate a cracker. Yeah. No, I'm real serious. When they tell me to fast, I fast. Save Robbie's butt gargle. There you go.
But with your butt.
The messenger. He said, check your messenger. Robbie, were you being naughty? Naughty? Were you being naughty? It's at
Oh my God.
Why? Is it on his channel? I have to go look now.
He sent me a
Yeah.
link. If it involves non-alcoholic mouthwash, a funnel, and
Is
your
it on your
butt.
channel? Is it
Yes,
on
it's
your
on his.
channel?
Hold on, I'll link it to you.
Oh, I don't see
Oh my God,
that.
you people!
Okay. You guys are something. Oh, okay. You're linking
Y'all are
it.
gonna beat me up with Whataburgers? I could stand that. Yes, ma'am. Come on.
Did Amber say what her?
I look. She's just trying to scare me. We gonna fight. She
Oh
wants to
my
fight
God.
me.
She does.
Oh my God.
Oh,
You too.
Oh my God.
Listen, I'm old and decrepit.
Yeah,
Eat
I
me
can
with
vouch
pillows,
for that.
please.
I can vouch for that.
You guys are crazy. And
Oh my
delusional
God.
dispellers.
Oh my gosh.
Oh God, no.
Ew. Robbie.
Why, God, why? I gotta show
Oh,
my husband that one. He'll love it.
oh
He'll be
my
like,
God.
he'll be like, "What's wrong with this Robbie guy?"
I
Like the
don't know.
list is too
You're
long.
not
I
right,
can't.
Robbie. You're not right. This is
Oh my.
good, guys. You guys have to go there.
So listen, let me tell you what happened yesterday at the dentist because I was such a smart ass. It was just a bad day all day yesterday because I was in so much pain. And so I go in there and I've never met this dentist before, right? And she's my age, I guess. She walks in there and like over first the techs are taking x-rays of my teeth, right? They're like, oh, yeah, oh, it's angry. I'm like, I know, please fix it. And so then the dentist walks in and she looks in my mouth, she starts poking around, and I'm like trying not to fly out of the chair. And
Mhm.
she goes, so how did we get to this position? Yeah, she said that to me. Like
Ooh.
I'm 3, right? I looked at her and said, is this what we're doing today? This is what we're doing today. I said, neglect, neglect. Does that help you at all? She just kind of looked at me like she was getting pissed. I'm like, oh, well, don't come in here with a smart ass question. I'm getting a smart ass answer.
Well, didn't your one dentist say that there was $8,000 worth of work in your mouth or something?
Yes. Yeah. Well, when you work, like 5 12s a week, the
Mm-hmm.
last thing you want to do to relax is go sit in a dentist chair and he's got a drill.
Exactly. I hate the
Yeah,
dentist.
that's not
I
my
hate,
idea of R&R. If
I,
it's not hurting, I'm not gonna go get it fixed. Okay,
yeah,
that's my
I hate the
philosophy.
dentist more than I hate the doctor. I really do.
I do too.
Freaking needle comes at me. I'm telling you, that
Okay,
hurts almost more than the dental work.
I have to have some idea of what's going on with the Twizzler swallowing contest.
I
What
don't
is
know.
that?
What is it?
Madonna's scaring me. She's starting to scare me.
What did Amber say was her beef with you? Did she ever
She
say?
loves me. She loves me. They're gonna beat me up. Amber and LaDonna love me, but they want to beat me up.
Oh, okay. I know they love you more than they love me on this
Y'all
channel.
want a mud wrestle? That would be fun.
Creative
Jello.
Revival says that was not what I was thinking when you said reaction. Oh my God. Creative reaction. Yes, it is.
Like, what kind of boredom do you have to have in your life that you think,
Ooh.
can you
And
gargle with your butt?
here. She says her student doctor was a looker. Oh, don't you love it? He's a shadowing my regular doctor. He can come anytime.
You're like, could you come over here and see if I have
Yeah.
any lumps in my breast real quick? And when you're done with that, I'm going to need a pelvic exam, please. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh my God. You're so filthy.
I know. I'm
Okay.
trying.
My goodness. Come on, guys.
Robbie's butt
Em,
gargle.
Get up here. Robbie, get up here. Whoever else wants to come up here, come up here. Well, I have to check on your channel, which I can do now. Now I know how to do it. You click on those 3 dots and it tells you.
Ems, I had the
channel
best looking
connected to.
doctor when I lived in Louisiana, and he died of melanoma way too young. God, I loved him. He was really good to look at, but he was a good doctor too. I had to keep reminding myself, he's married. I didn't care about my marriage. I cared about his.
You and your hall passes.
I know.
It was a brain fart idea I had the other day.
Brain
I
fart.
haven't figured out the details of how to insert.
It feels
Oh
good to
my
be bad.
goodness gracious. I was gonna say the greatest thing that YouTube has done for me is give me that option of the block button. I'll tell you what, I love it.
Well, but wait a minute. So it's a Twizzler swallowing contest, and yet you're
Twizzlers
trying to figure out how to insert them? Insert them where? LaDonna,
Ooh,
what are you talking
are
about?
those like those things,
Get
those Twizzlers that you eat?
I think so. Come up here, LaDonna. Let's fight. Come on.
Yeah, LaDonna, get out here and fight with us. Come on, guys.
Okay.
I like posting the link over and over. No
The
one's
war of the Texas tornadoes.
yeah. Texas Twister and Texas Tornado.
Yeah. She's so
Yeah.
funny. You slept with a what? You slept with a dentist once.
Right.
When he used his special tool to check out your teeth?
Robbie, get up here. Why isn't Robbie coming up? What the heck?
Because he's a freaking
What?
tease.
The heck? Why isn't Ems coming up? Tell us about her
My response.
My husband's best friend is a doctor and is extremely attractive. I could never have him as my physician. He's hot and a wise ass, so I'd be too embarrassed. Ooh.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah,
Can't figure out
especially
what
if you
to-
had to do like one of those, you know what, exams.
Twerking like a boss.
Hey, Babe Beauty, we had a car wreck and flipped 9 times on our
What?
rent yesterday. It was horrible.
Hey,
Wow.
Beauty. Are you okay?
I don't know if it was her in the car or if it was someone else. 9 times. Yeah, how many times that is? Like that's like movie stuff, you know, like
You know what that reminds me of? Remember when Ferris Bueller, the principal's like, he's been absent 9 times.
I never watched that movie.
You have, okay, that's your homework for this weekend.
I don't know. I'm gonna be busy this weekend.
Somebody needs to invent something for your tongue being sore when you're trying to avoid certain teeth.
I don't
Can
know.
we-
No,
can we get
I
that
did like
accomplished?
a piece of cotton. What I did was put
Ugh.
cotton. I know it tastes awful, but it stopped that jagged piece from hitting my tongue. was
Nothing
horrible.
can taste more
Like, that
awful
hurt
than
almost
BC powder.
That is
Hey, Beauty, I need to know if you're okay. I'm just saying, because you know you're my favorite. I can't say that. Don't tell Adonna I said
thanks
that,
a
but
lot.
I'm
She's your
just
favorite.
saying.
Damn you. God damn you. He told
The
us a
first
story
time-
about the first time he had to do a pelvic exam. Apparently, a woman came in and asked Doc, why my meat don't look right. I died.
Fuck. Did I tell you about the woman that came in with the
God.
tampon issue? I'm pretty sure
no.
you've heard
I
it.
think you told me that one.
Yeah. I was working in a clinic in Louisiana and this lady came in and drunk. Oh my God. She smells like booze, just booze. She comes in and I asked her what was going on. Why was she in to see the doctor? And she said, well, we've been drinking all weekend. I'm like, okay. We've been having sex all weekend. I'm like, too much information. She said, and we can't remember if he took my tampon out. I'm like, okay, no, and no, because men take out the garbage, they take out the dog. They do not, however, ever, and I do mean to ever, take out your tampon. No, just no. What? I was like, speechless. Actually, I was speechless. That was all running through my head, but I couldn't say it,
Oh, that's so gross.
you know.
So gross.
Uh,
Okay, that's Robbie. Hi, Robbie.
Hey.
I think that's cool that you can click on those 3 buttons now and it says authenticated by YouTube. Did you know that?
No, is that only in StreamYard?
Yeah, you click on the
Wow.
3 buttons and it'll say either authenticated with YouTube or it'll say someone else's name.
Oh, that's awesome.
I
Yeah, so no
know.
more dicks?
Well,
my
no, I've had to
God.
ban a few this morning that cloned accounts.
So,
Oh, wow.
Babe Beauty, you weren't in the car. It was somebody else. Thank God. I mean,
Yeah.
prayers for him,
Right,
but
That's terrible.
I
Right.
know.
That's a
Went
lot
up
of...
a 10-foot bank and still flipped.
Robbie, how's
God.
Miss Pink Lady Luck's son doing?
She's good. I didn't really talk to her much yesterday because I know her daughter has been over and stuff. So, but I know he's being transferred over to what is it? She texted me and said, hold on, let me see. It's an inpatient program that he's
Okay.
being transferred over to now. So
Good.
That's good.
yeah,
Good to know.
that
How are
situation
you,
could have ended up.
Robs? How are you,
I'm-
Rob?
I'm
Oh,
good.
you're-
I've slept until like 7 a.m. each morning.
Talk about your haunted
Slacker.
weekend. Talk about your haunted thing this weekend. I want to hear about that.
Oh, we're going tonight. I'm so excited.
Oh, is it
Okay.
tonight? Oh, cool.
First of all, I'm excited because Central City is our gambling town. It's like our mini Vegas. So I
Okay.
might just stop and like win a bunch of money. But it's if you look at the Central City Cemetery, parts of the graves are in the woods. And
Oh my
Kurt
God.
or Mexi, sorry. he ordered like a EFT reader or whatever it's called
Uh-huh.
in the mail, like an actual real one that came, and it's like a ghost machine that picks
Yeah.
up, so
Right.
we're going to use that. And there is a story of a woman, and she dresses in black, and she puts flowers on a certain grave twice a year. So there's been sightings of her and a little boy hiding behind the grave. So I'm just super excited. We're going to go near sundown and in the dark.
Ooh. Are you going to
It's
do an
gonna
EVP session or anything?
Oh, sure.
What is it?
Are you going to do
An
an
EVP.
Oh yeah, that's what he got. The machine.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, that's what he got. And then
I can't wait to see your reaction of being in the dark in a cemetery in the woods.
oh, well, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something real fast. I sleep with 2 night lights and that little LED light thing that shines stars on my ceiling. I hate the dark.
Really?
I don't do the dark. So I'm a wimp. I will scream.
You are so high maintenance.
Mm. Yes. So
It's like,
it
girl,
will
you
be
just
like
don't
the Blair
know.
Witch Project.
I am.
Oh, there's them.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Good
Ems.
morning. This is so awesome. If you go on
Ems.
StreamYards, Ems, if you click on those 3 dots on the top of someone's name, it either says authenticated with YouTube or it has someone else's name on it.
Cool.
Carla, I don't even know how to mute myself yet when I'm running a panel, so I don't know where those buttons are.
Listen, don't pick on the old lady. She just learned something. Give her a break. Just say, "Oh my God, that's fascinating, Carla."
I know, it's like I was taking all these troll accounts this morning when we were talking about something serious.
No, I'm
And,
giving her credit, actually.
Oh, baby.
Oh, yeah, she is.
Well, prayers for him. Good Lord, that's
What?
scary.
What
She said that the guy that
was in the accident?
that it threw him out of the car, and that he's in ICU, but he has woken up.
Oh, that's
So that's good.
Wow.
Awesome news.
She's
Wait.
like, what?
That's one of my biggest fears is a car accident. It just terrifies me. And I drive really good because I've had friends and, I just don't want to get in a car accident. So I use the Smith system when I drive. I don't know if you know what that is, but
Nope,
I'm just
what is that?
terrified of.
Terrified. Did you just say
It's a huge-
terrified?
My biggest fear is a plane crash.
Terrified.
I was terrified.
A plane
Plane crash
crash, I'd be
would be-
okay. I'd just break into the, all the liquor. Just kidding. No.
Take
I
care
won't
Well,
of
I
be
him.
guess
Have a
down
sobriety
good
at
day.
that point wouldn't matter.
What's the worst nightmare? Like that's my worst nightmare is being in a plane crash because you have time to know that you're gonna die. You know what I mean?
Mine's a tsunami.
A
tidal
tsunami.
Really?
wave. Mhm.
Really serious.
I don't think I have one.
Of course not.
You don't have any fears?
No.
You don't have
What's
anything.
yours,
How about
Ems?
you, Ems?
Oh my gosh. Well, first the planes, hence why I've never been on one.
Really?
No, never. And then tornadoes scare the shit out of me. And maybe it's because when we get them here, they're rare. We maybe get like one every few years. And they scare the shit out of me. Big storms in general.
Right.
And see, I don't.
See, I used to be a flight attendant, so I would do anywhere from 3 to 8 flights per day. But I would love to watch people's faces, maybe like M's, because you could tell when you're taking off of the jump seat, looking at everyone's face, and you could tell the new flyers and then the relaxed ones. It was so funny.
I
mean,
think I've just been
turbulent.
in like I've had
Robbie,
to be.
I would go to my doctor and oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I would go to my doctor and I would tell him, "Hey, give me some of that stuff you gave me last year before I entered that plane. I'd be all fucked up. I'd be all right.
Right.
I'd wake up
right.
when I'm done."
And then you
My
order
brother
the
does
strong
that.
drink, a double.
I think I've just had to live in a constant state of emergency preparedness for most of my life. Living in the Gulf, that there's not a lot that scares me. I think, the sooner you know about it, the better you can prepare. And I'm
Right.
just a preparer kind of person. I'm like ready at a moment's notice to get the fuck out of Dodge. Just gotta go.
Yeah.
So I don't fear
We
it.
don't
I
really have
figure I can always outrun it.
earthquakes.
No,
We don't have any
earthquakes,
of
no.
that.
Nope.
But tornadoes we do. We just have serial killers here.
Yeah, you guys have got
Yeah, lots
you
of
guys have
them.
got some whacked out murderers up there.
Yeah.
Murderers,
I think
they
it's
kill
the
their
lack
whole
of
family.
oxygen.
Yeah,
Messing
I
with
actually
everyone's
did a live stream
brains
on that.
there.
That's a
Jesus.
good point. That's a good point.
You have a lot of, Joe Kenda is from Colorado somewhere.
Who's that?
Who?
Joe Kenda. He's on ID, Discovery ID.
Oh,
Yeah, he's from he solved over 400 murders. So I'm thinking,
damn.
wow, I don't know if I want to move to Colorado ever because he's
It's
all these
beautiful
murders.
here.
Yeah, it is beautiful. The scenery is gorgeous.
Hmm.
Is that noise loud? They're mowing the golf course and
What?
it's so
No.
loud here.
What? I can't hear you, Yams. What?
I don't hear anything.
Smart.
She's like,
Okay.
you fucking
Being a
bitch,
smart
misdemeanor. I'm just
We
gonna.
had a
I'm gonna spend the
dog
rest
on
of the
here this
weekend.
morning that was snoring.
I'm gonna
louder
the rest
than
of the weekend. I'm gonna go
normal.
around picking fights with everybody. That's my new goal in life.
Isn't that all of you?
I am
two?
just as big of an asshole as you are, so we'll be all right.
Oh,
I
she's
love you,
great
Ems.
at it. Yeah.
We'll go be asshole buddies together. We'll beat up on Amber and LaDonna.
Well, you know what I do with her? I mute her when she gets on my nerves. She goes, I think I didn't see you mute me. I think I didn't see that.
Do it again, bitch. Do it again.
I love it. I love it when you're bad. So, Em,
Yeah,
you had
crashing a car into
you had
water.
right.
Oof.
Ooh.
Ugh.
What'd you say?
You had a cute doctor yesterday.
Mm.
I thought you
Oh,
said she had a cute
gosh.
butt. I was like,
Was it
okay.
worth the 2-hour drive? Shut up.
No, I was there forever. It sucked, actually. The appointment actually sucked, but
So how
it's weird. It tells me that I'm getting older because some of these doctors look like they could be dating like my daughter. They look so young.
It doesn't get any better from this point. I'm just telling you.
Ugh.
Then you start getting hair on your chin.
I
Losing
started
hair
that a long
everywhere
time
else.
ago.
The shit nobody tells you about. Women are supposed to take care
And
of each other.
the only good thing about it is not getting my period. I just love it. I mean, I don't miss
Same
that
here.
at all.
So what are you saying? Your husband's now semi-retired? Is that what you're saying? Didn't have to take it out anymore? Just, That was the grossest thing in the world.
Wow.
I just stood there stunned going, what the fuck did you just say to me? What? You're supposed to be professional and you just want to go completely rogue on him and say, you're kidding me, right? He takes it out. Are you that lazy? What the fuck is wrong with you?
I've heard all
What?
kinds of stories.
Oh, God.
I must have
Some-
missed something. What happened, misdemeanor?
I was working in the clinic and this chick comes in and she's been like drinking all weekend, reeks of booze. Okay. And so I bring her back to the room and I'm, getting her stuff done and asking her why she's there that day. And she said, well, my husband and I have been drinking all weekend. Like she's like weaving back and forth, leaning up against me. I'm like, dude, seriously, you need detox or what? And she said, we've been drinking all weekend. We've been having sex all weekend. And we can't remember if he took out my tampon.
Ugh.
Oh, well,
And I went, excuse me? What did you just say?
where the hell do you live?
That's Louisiana. I moved. Listen, these people have festivals for no apparent
Trifling
reason
hoe.
whatsoever, just so they could drink and party. Like a rice festival. Why do you have a festival for rice?
We have a few of those up here as well. Like
It's
a
like-
peach festival,
Right.
all kinds of shit. Maple festival.
Just a festival for a festival. Yeah.
Oh, where my daughter lives, they have a bacon festival.
Uh,
I'm not going to
Mhm.
say where she lives.
Do you
But they
guys
have a
know I
big-
just found out that
What?
about a half, well, I shouldn't say where actually, but I live right next to a fucking nudist colony. I never knew that. I want to go check it out. I never knew.
I wonder if they'd be in the woods.
That'd
I
be
wanna
really
go.
uncomfortable.
Like, apparently
Well-
it's a well-known place. I had no idea that I moved freaking right near a nudist colony.
Maybe that's why you got a good deal on your house.
Probably.
When you go to sell it, what are you going to advertise when you go to sell your house? Oh, the amenities.
My
Yeah, that might raise
gosh.
the value of the home, actually. But I would get really uncomfortable in one of those because I know this may be a little bit blunt, but I tend to get a boner pretty easily. So is that accepted in those communities?
That's all right.
Excuse me, ma'am. Pardon me, ma'am. Excuse me, sir. Oh, hey, sir.
Holla. I mean, does that look frowned upon in those
Wait, do they have a
communities, or
lake
is
or
that okay?
anything around there? Is there a lake near you?
You
Is that
can
where
jump
it is?
into it to hide your boner.
I'd be going and checking it out. I seriously,
Yeah.
I would.
I want to check it out.
Are you going to go naked or with clothes on?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I got to scope it out first.
You gotta blend in there, Em.
Ems, please, God, if you do it, please do a live. I swear to God, please do a live. I will pay you so much super chats. You have no idea. I will go sell shit. I'll sell a kidney. Do it.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine if I did a live and caught people on camera that I shouldn't? All of a sudden, all these naked people come to my door all pissed off. My husband would be like, "What the fuck?"
The cops are here, honey. They want to know why you were running around next door with a camera, laughing your ass off. Did you drink again? Been doing some day drinking you want to tell me about?
Robbie, so
Oh,
I
God.
have a serious question for you.
How can we be serious after that?
So boxer briefs.
Mhm.
Do how do I say? Okay, so
You're so
I got
cute.
a picture last night, and
Of me?
What are you?
Jesus.
so my husband switched over to these new underwear, and he's trying to go with like boxer briefs because he's athletic and he wants to hold everything in.
Mhm.
And he says that they keep ripping in the crotch area. So last night he sent me a picture,
Superman.
and it was his ball sticking out of this little fucking hole, and that's all it was, just a ball. And he said, "See, can you pick me up some
See?
new undies when you're out?" Is that common or like?
Did he say undies?
Ooh, well, first of
Well,
all, let me say
okay,
you
a
picked the
lot.
right man. I'll tell you that right now. And
Strange. I
Well-
sent him a text back. I said, "That shit ain't right. That's just not right."
what
I'd be
you
like-
know where I order some underwear off of eBay and it comes from China? It's very cheap. Well, no, you only pay like $1, but it's super sexy, stretchy underwear. And in the crotch region, it gives you as much space needed because it's stretchable. So
It
maybe,
has ballroom, does it? It has its own
oh,
ballroom?
it has room for anything you need.
Oh
Yeah,
my
I
God.
need to find undies for him that have more ballroom apparently
Low
because
hanging-
every pair that came in the
Good for
pack
him.
now have a hole in them.
Wow. good
Kevin
for him.
said, listen, Kevin said it brings a whole new meaning to the term
Low-hanging
low-hanging fruit.
Well, they're brand new, which is weird. Like
The
I gotta
balls or
figure
the
out
undies?
the good ones. Maybe both. He's
That
gonna
is very
strangle those bitches though if he doesn't toss them.
You should have sent him.
Before?
You should have sent him a text
Or is
and
it
said, "Are you sure those are yours?"
Boxer
I also-
briefs are best. They're
Oh my
too-
gosh.
Oh, okay. They're
I
too
also
small.
have the underwear. There's a picture going around YouTube, but I also have underwear where there's a slot for your penis. So it's underwear, and then there's like a little tube thing.
A
A
tube.
tube.
Yeah, it's like a
Like so your
sock.
penis fits inside like a
penis.
sock.
Oh, a
Yes.
sock.
Mhm.
An artificial foreskin. Okay, got it. Got it.
So
Yes,
the penis stays
absolutely.
warm in the winter. Right?
Absolutely, yes.
Penis stays warm
Mhm.
in the What about peeing now? You have to pull it all the way out to pee. Like,
Yeah,
or
well,
is
yeah,
there-
of course, yeah.
oh, okay.
Mhm.
No, you just
Yeah.
leave it in there. Just go.
You can
Well,
see
it's
right
kind of like a
through it.
bra for a penis, though. Like it gives the perfect shape for
Yeah, but
the.
we don't have to pee through our boobs, you know.
Remy,
That's what he needs. Like something athletic wise, you know, that just holds things in as he's playing sports and, you know, all that good stuff.
Remy
Yeah.
I just
said,
cannot find
that's-
him apparently.
Remy's got a good point. You should have just
Big
texted him and
jockstrap.
said 4 in all caps. 4. Your balls out.
I just didn't expect that. I'm like laying on the couch last night waiting for my girls to get home, and all of a sudden here comes this ball picture sticking out this little tiny hole. It was the weirdest shit ever.
Stories ever.
You could write a book.
I just share too much, probably.
Trending. Next thing you know, like it's not milking cucumbers anymore. It's this will be trending.
I'm sorry, but creative revival. I don't think any man should free ball, because when you free ball, you also free tush. Okay, and that just is not right.
To
Because
have your
then
butt
you also have-
exposed?
Yeah, like your butt on your pants. Men have like dirtier butts than women. Well,
Yes,
straight
they
men, I guess.
do.
because they're
We-
hairy. I think
Were
we
y'all
were
absent the day
golfing.
were you
Yeah.
absent the day that they taught wiping your ass?
We
Because
were
men
golfing
You
recently,
got a butt gargle.
and
do.
this guy was wearing khakis, and I'm not kidding you, he must have sharted at some point and didn't know. And each time he would get up to tee off, like there was this big shit stain running all the way up his
Oh my
pants. I
God.
felt makes you feel so bad.
Okay, Ems, can I tell you something really fast? Okay,
Uh-huh.
you have like one of those. First of all, you look like a beautiful like Stepford wife. You have a sweet voice, and you're like a cute, beautiful little like cute housewife. You have
But
the
you're
filthiest stories.
downright
I'm telling you,
filthy.
you could write it.
I know I do.
we have corrupted hands.
Oh my goodness.
Morning. Is it too early to have these stories? Like people say, "Oh, I come in here. I'm very amused." It's like,
Okay, free balling with a robe on.
we're just waiting for what her
Creative-
next story is.
Creative revival is at work trying to concentrate. It's impossible.
Underwear.
I can hear her right now going, "What do you mean a sweater for a penis?" Oh, she's like looking around. What? I didn't say that. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
See, if you're free balling in a robe, that's perfectly fine, because usually you're like showered right before, you know.
Wait,
And
wait,
it's okay.
Robbie, can I ask you something?
Of course.
You put them to the left or the right? Or are they just straight down the middle?
Hold on, let me look.
Let me look.
Oh, mine's to the right now, shriveled.
Shriveled. Can we get a pic, Robbie?
Yeah, it's on my OnlyFans. Start a
Members.
Patreon just for my penis.
Okay, have you ever worn tight jeans? Really, really, really tight jeans? And then like
Hell yeah, I just ordered a new
Like
pair
the
of-
lead
so you
singer
know
from
how
Journey,
women when
like
they
that.
wear really tight jeans, they have what they call a camel toe. What is it called when it's a man? A man wears tight
bulge?
jeans like that.
a bulge.
A bulge?
Yeah.
It's called a,
But I
it's
mean,
called a
that's
tube
usually,
sock.
oh, no, I'm sorry.
You know
They
when they're
call-
really tight? Have you ever seen a man that's worn really tight jeans and you see like it goes up the middle of the balls?
Yes, and they also call that a
Sam's jumped down.
they also call it a dick print, like when you're
A
wearing
dick
sweatpants or
What do
gym
you call it?
shorts.
What do you call
A
it?
dick print. Because, like,
Oh,
yeah, you know when you see a jogger and their penis is bouncing around or whatever, it's a dick print.
interesting. Interesting.
Mhm.
I did not know that.
Let me tell you, there's nothing wrong with that. I'll tell you that right now.
I often wondered that myself, creative revival. It's got to get in the way. And, you know, I rode
Moose-
horses most of my life, and there were guys, equestrians, you know, and every time I'd watch them ride, I'm thinking, God, it's got to hurt, man. It's got to hurt.
Creative Revival says it's like that Seinfeld episode when Elaine says, I don't know how men walk around with those things.
Well, And they never think that about boobs. Have you ever noticed? It never bothers them for one
You walk
instant
around with boobs.
that you have these bowling balls attached to your chest. Oh.
Oh, and some have big bone
A moose
balls.
knuckle. I have heard that, Kevin. I've heard the term moose knuckle.
Really? That's
Yeah,
what
I
men
have.
think it's called, a moose
A
knuckle.
seam ripper.
Seam ripper.
Oh, that's for
Sounds like
men.
that's
is a
what
moose
M's
knuckle.
husband
Have you
has.
not ever heard? Have you ever heard that term, Robbie?
Moose knuckle?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was but so that's for a penis? A moose knuckle.
A moose knuckle.
Well, the
I
pant.
never knew that.
When the pants are tight.
Oh,
But,
okay.
yeah, that's what I wanted to know. What you know?
Oh,
Give her another link. my dear.
yesterday when I was out with my niece, but she's like 19, so thank God. I stood up and my penis was pretty much sticking out of my pants, but I had my underwear on, but they're like sheer underwear. I was like, oh my God. It was embarrassing.
Becky,
Becky.
Welcome back, Ems.
Oh,
look
yeah.
at that butt.
What knocked you off, Ams? Was it all the smut talk? Did you hear what Kevin said? It's called a moose knuckle.
Eh,
It's called a moose knuckle. Does your husband have a moose knuckle?
oh gosh.
He has more than that. He makes
My
holes in
husband
his.
doesn't
No,
wear
but I do in certain leggings.
Oh,
certainly.
I have to check myself when I wear certain leggings. It's like
for your
it's like that
toe?
camel is coming out to pickle. Leggings are like not good for public.
Oh, you're roboting.
You're roboting.
You are a robot.
You are
Girlfriend.
roboting.
When I'm on my computer, I always feel
Is it
like I'm
better?
talking.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's better now.
Hey,
I
beauty,
always feel like
can't-
I'm
that's-
talking too loud on my computer because I can't hear myself in the headphones. I could only hear you. So it's like I feel like I'm screaming because I
You
can't
actually
hear
are.
myself.
You actually have a calming voice.
Oh,
Beautiful.
I don't
I
know
love
if I
your
could-
voice.
you do.
Babe, beauty. Like, did you not want to kick, like,
Flirting with you, Robbie.
roundhouse kick those
That's
people?
fine.
He does. Yes, leggings are the worst. Always have to pull down. Oh, really?
I
Yeah.
like myself a good jock strap. I find them to be very comfortable. But again, you have to be wearing because the back is open. So, you want to make sure you wear them at the right times.
What do you
Well,
mean?
we
the
can't
back is
strap
open?
on a jock strap. There, I should invent something that like hides the camel toe because leggings are so popular.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I'm
You
an,
could call
I'm
it. You
gonna
could call it
invent
the
it.
Bermuda Triangle. Just covers right there.
Would there be like a padding around it or
It's called the Kotex pad.
Let me tell you something. Oh my God. Okay, so we we had the niece and nephew down here, right, when mom was in the hospital, right? And so my niece, whatever, starts her period, but she's had one before, right? So it's not that big a deal, but she's not feeling good. She's sick. And so I said, listen, I called her mom and her mom called her dad, and they decided that, yeah, somebody's going to bring home pads when they head that way because she only had 2. Okay. And so here comes my brother-in-law with this box. And I talked to him on the phone. I said, just get just regular size. You don't need to get anything fancy. Just get regular size. Okay. So he got the new kind that are in the little black box, the U
Mhm.
brand. I've never used those. He opens them up. And I said,
Yeah.
Bubba, no, I thought there's like maybe 4 in here, right? No, there was like 40. And I'm like, Bubba, this is not going to work. I mean, it's not thick enough. It's as thin as a sheet of paper, right? He goes, well, no, let's
Mhm.
open it up. Let's look at it. Little tiny bitty square that you have to open up. This pad was for a gerbil. Swear to God, I'm going, it doesn't even go the length of my hand. Bubba goes, well, she's little. I said, I don't care. What is this going to cover her pee hole? That's it. I mean, my God, giving him a lecture
what did you
on
just call that?
pee hole.
I remember the first time my dad ever had buy me pads. He brought home fucking Depends. I'm not joking.
Depends.
I don't know if he didn't know the yeah, Depends, like actual diapers. And he didn't buy them before, so he did his best, but oh my gosh, never again. I never asked him to do it again. He was so embarrassed.
He's like, don't fucking bleed on anything.
Good old
Put this diaper
Pops.
on.
See, men don't have. I mean, I feel like I get cranky like pretty bad one time a month. So I heard like men have a weird cycle, but it's more
They
emotional.
do. They
like, our
do.
period.
I'm convinced.
Men
Oh,
get
yeah,
their
definitely.
period.
My husband's issue.
They
Maybe
just don't bleed.
PMSs on occasion.
They
Yeah,
just don't
definitely.
bleed like we do.
Nope.
I used to have the worst periods ever.
No,
Don't
let me
mess
tell you.
up.
When my sister and I first started, my mother is from the she's born in 35. Okay, so I start mine. She hands me this belt and this pad that has these long extensions on it. I'm like, what the fuck
What the
is this
hell?
contraption? And I have to put this, and it's got like the garter belts that have the little clampy things. So you're supposed to attach that to the front and the back.
Yep.
Look, it was like my initial experience with a thong is what it was amounting to. So, okay, I do this contraption for however long. We go to a horse show, and they're like, well, let's all go swimming. I'm like, I can't. They're like, why? I'm on my period. Well, don't you use tampons? I'm like, what are those? Look, these girls gave me an education in about 10 minutes, and I was so pissed off at my mother. I'm like, you knew they made these, and you made me wear that? Are you kidding me? Then I found out that they had the peel sticky backs. Yeah, changed my relationship with my mother forever.
Yeah, I'm just fascinated by tampons because they just
Why?
sit there all day, like up in the chimney.
Yes, and they catch any outfall. Pretty
How do
much.
they
It's
not
like a flower.
fall out? Like, do people have
Because-
problems with them falling if they're promiscuous?
No.
What happened to Ems? What happened to Ems?
I don't know. She was roboting, and then she just
Oh,
kind of
oh, okay.
disappeared.
So it's like a cotton. It's like a cotton bullet. Okay.
Mhm, and it swells.
Yeah, it swells. Once it's up in there, it kind of opens up like a flower.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Ems.
A beautiful
We'll be
flower.
here.
Right.
I love Ems.
I
I
do
love
too.
Ems and her stories. She always comes.
The what
She
sticky
lives-
things?
no,
The sticky
she
things are
lives
the.
here at Nudist Colony. So guess who we're visiting?
She needs
I know,
to write a
right?
book, I'm
Let's
telling
go
you, because
party.
it needs to be a voiceover book, like one of those audio books, because her voice is like, you just picture like this beautiful supermodel wife lady, and then
Uh-huh.
she's sitting there talking about waiting for her daughters to come home and looking at a dick in her face and her phone.
We're saying they got to go change the light
Oh
bulbs.
my God, the
Did
first
you hear the
time.
light bulb story?
No.
Well, yeah, that's what they would
Oh.
do when the kids were younger and they wanted to go have sex in the middle of the day or whatever, but the kids were up. Okay, Dad and I will be in the bedroom changing the light bulb. Y'all stay here. Yeah, okay. Her kids were like, damn, our light bulbs don't last worth the shit, do they? Y'all need to be more economical.
Oh,
But
you
yeah, Robbie,
did.
and you don't
Oh,
leave them in there all day. You change them every 2 to 4 hours.
Oh, sorry.
Remy's
Yeah, I
right.
interrupted you. Okay, so there,
Oops.
it's like
A flower.
okay, but so I guess I don't want to say this in like a graphic way. So if someone needs reconstructive surgery down there to tighten things up, do they have an
Uh-huh.
issue keeping them inside?
I don't think so. I mean, they
Okay.
make different sizes or whatever.
Oh,
I mean, if they had issues like that where just shit randomly falls out.
like change, stuff falling out of their purse.
Oh, there's my hairbrush. I wonder where that
Oh my
went.
God, I found my passport.
Ems.
There's that.
Should
beautiful
be better.
It is better, Ems.
It is better. A lot
Robbie's
better.
question. Maybe you can answer this for me, Ems.
Ems, do you have a
Robbie's
wide
question.
chimney?
Oh boy. A what?
His question is, when you have if you have issues in your chimney and it's too wide, do your tampons just fall out? It's not like if you're that loose, because like random shit falls out, like change, and oh, here's my passport. How'd that get there?
Like throwing a hot dog down a hallway.
Mhm.
Oh fuck!
And also, what is with these and why? I guess my question would be, why would somebody want to, those little I guess they're vibrators, mini ones that stay there all day, and you just kind of what's the purpose of that? Isn't that against HR policy at most people's jobs?
You don't tell anybody. You just do it.
And
Oh,
typically, Robbie,
The same thing of a man, because don't they do it up the, you know,
well, I mean,
Is
we don't
that,
really
like-
have like a.
does the sphincter?
We don't have like a fleshlight that stays on all day.
Does it go like? Does it like, you know, like the vajayjay?
Exactly,
Well,
Becky
well,
Boo. Okay.
mine- I have not been
She
a
said
bottom
she-
since a long time ago, so I don't.
Vagina
Really know.
stretches for a baby and returns to normal.
Right.
mhm.
That's 10
Hmm.
centimeters. You know how
Oh.
big that measure that? It's huge.
Yeah,
Hey, Maxie.
like
You just gave me a really bad visual. Like, I
I'm
guess I've
actually-
never thought about it from a doctor's perspective. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's a big gaping fucking hole when it's happening. Like, could you imagine looking at that being like
Oh.
6 inches away?
Oh, damn. What the fuck? Close that shit up, man.
Whoa.
my daughter watched a video in in school about giving birth, and she came home that day from school and she goes, "You disgust me."
Oh, my God, what did I fucking do?
She goes, "I just watched a video about a birth," and I said, "Why? Well, why is that disgusting?" She goes, "It was disgusting." And she said, "I know, I came from that."
You're like, yeah, and you're welcome. See what you did to me?
Yeah.
Now everything
After
falls out.
39 hours of labor. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. She's totally grossed out by it. She's like totally grossed out. She goes, "I'm out of there." Ew. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Wasn't
Okay,
any.
so what, Carla? I want to ask you first.
Uh-oh.
What is, speaking
God.
of like gross stuff, sexually or romantically? What's one of your biggest turnoffs? Ems is like, let me go get my list.
It's got to be that stuff that comes out.
Semen?
Yeah.
Are you come?
Oh God. Yes.
Oh my god, that's the best part.
It's a terrible thing.
Oh yeah, I forgot you don't swallow.
Right.
What
We're
about
working
you,
on that.
I have to gag them.
What?
Misdemeanor,
Are you gagging?
what's yours?
Any negative body odor.
Oh.
I mean, you can't
Okay.
stink and be wanting to be romantic. No. You need
Well,
to go
I mean,
take a
yeah,
shower,
that's-
whatever you need to do, but
Mhm. Yeah.
That's
What
it.
about
That's
you,
about
Ems?
it.
Mine is a little different, and I think I've shared this before.
Hey, Angie.
Mine is butthole in my face. Like, that's why I
Oh,
cannot
yeah.
do like any weird positions where
With the
I'm
butthole.
lined up that way. No. Can't do it.
Wasn't it when
Wow.
Paul-
Are you afraid of a gas attack or what? Incoming.
I don't know. Like, there's certain like
I don't have that
69
problem.
positions
the
that
balloon knot?
put
Are you
you in
talking
a
about?
weird position like that. And
Don't
it
want to see the
fucking-
balloon knot then. right?
No, it grosses me out. No.
Wow. See, mine is more emotional. I recently just met somebody who's incredibly attractive. He looks like a supermodel. He just turned 50. He's a daddy, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go with the daddy. But he's really kind of needy, or that turns me off. Like
The needy?
emotionally, I don't like when people
Like
are
he
over
always
there.
wants it, or he
The
always
needy
wants
part?
things for him.
Well, I haven't
or-
slept with him yet, or I don't know if I will. But
Are
yeah,
you
he's-
dating him?
He wants to. He asked me if he could cook dinner for me the other night, and I told him I was sick.
Do you think it's because you're so much younger than him that he
No,
he's
I,
like-
insecure?
yeah, and I met
I'm
him
dating.
in AA meetings actually. So it's kind of weird, they say you're not supposed to date the first year of being sober,
Right.
and I can see
Yeah.
why. But he's
Robbie,
just, like,
what level
overbearing.
clingy though? Like what level needy? Like a level 10
Well-
needy, or like what's he doing?
Kind of just like being pushy to the point where when you say no, I can't hang out today, or I don't want to, it's
Well,
kind of
why
like
not?
doesn't take no for an answer.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or like the other day I was in the
Uh-uh.
bath and he was like, what are you doing? I was like, just relaxing in the bath. So he was like, oh my God, me too. And he FaceTimed me from the bathtub.
Hell
and I was
no.
like, this is weird. And not only that, but he showed his junk in the FaceTime. I was like, this is awkward. Like it was
Yeah.
awkward, and it was too much. Like I don't want to move too fast. I
Yeah.
used to be a
Right.
slut, but I don't want to be a slut.
No.
It's just a kind of a turn off to me. But he's one of the most attractive people I've ever seen in my life. Really, he looks
That's
like a
pro-
soap opera star. His hair is perfect.
Maybe he has a big ego and he is used to getting what he wants.
Yep. Sounds like it.
Yeah.
I don't
Sounds
like
it.
clingy either, Robbie, at all.
Mm-mm.
And me
Me
and my
neither.
husband are the most non-clingy people, and I think that's why it works.
Yeah.
I probably should be a little more clingy, so should he, but I can't do clingy.
No.
That to me is when you feel completely safe with your partner, when you don't feel the need to.
Misdemeanor is clingy with me. Oh my gosh! If I don't answer my phone,
She's
bitches
been
at me,
drinking again, y'all. I'm
up
sorry.
one side, down the
I
other.
didn't want to talk about it online, but she's
So
drinking
clingy.
again.
Well, and you know how people say, you know, we always want what we can't have, or that's harder to
Right.
get. And then they say, you know, in my situation, people say, oh, you know, I'd rather have me chasing a person. No. I would like a perfect balance of two people are okay with those people being themselves. No one needs to chase one more than the other. No,
Right.
Yep.
you're allowed
But you
to be
get that.
yourself.
I agree.
You get that
That's
cute
what I
little phone call really late at night saying, "Damn, I miss you."
Fuck that.
That's not clingy though.
Go to
You know what
sleep.
I'm saying?
No, that's like, yeah.
No, I mean,
But
that's
that's like
nice.
maybe once
That's
every
nice.
week, once a
No,
week, or once every 2
yeah,
weeks, you
or
get that one phone call.
Yeah, just
Nah.
like
I,
I miss you. You looked
Fuck
good
the
the
phone
other night.
calls. Send me a text. Like, no thanks.
Oh my god. And
Oh.
you're hard. Oh my gosh, you're hard.
Well, I mean,
That's just how I am.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's the same when people, you know, even with friends, okay? I love my friends. I'm not a big phone person. If I do talk, I'll send those voice texts, which I
Yep,
send off.
me too.
And I don't really like to even
Uh-huh.
type text. I like to send those. But
Yep.
it's like get to the point. I don't like detailed stories. And it's not because I'm rude. It's like some people will go off telling you a story, every single detail, like, oh yeah, and you know, I was wearing these shoes and I walked
and then
in
I
the door.
brushed my hair back. You know, like in
Yeah,
that
and
movie from.
I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, what happened?
Who does
Just
that
tell me
remind
what
you of?
happened.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Cut to
don't
the
know.
I
chase.
do that though.
Well, my
That's why I
husband does
don't
that.
talk on the phone because I
My
am the
hu-
person that will give every detail. Like
My
I'll keep
husband
you on
does
the phone
that,
for an
And
hour.
I'm like this.
Oh my
I'm
god,
like
you're
this.
adorable.
And or you know, like
Next.
I tune out because he's just giving too many details. Like he
See,
is.
to me, with texting,
are
it
you
takes
good at reading
longer.
social? Well, it does. It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Ems, if you have good communication skills, which it seems you do, you would be good at picking up a social cue of somebody being like, "Okay, wrap it up," or you know,
Yeah.
right? It's those people that don't read social cues. That it's like, oh my
Sometimes, like I've
God.
been in situations where, like looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, I rambled on and on and on. For the most part, I am, but there's been occasions that I've been that weirdo that keeps people on the phone too long. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a phone girl. I'm like, because I think
Oh God.
I'm sitting there watching,
on
waiting.
the phone all freaking day.
It's
Like,
our
all
age
day.
differences. Robbie and I are
Well-
close in age, and we probably grew up with texting. Like, think about it. When I was young, my parents would get visitors all the time. People would just come unannounced. These days, if someone rolls in my driveway, I am fucking hiding. I go into ninja mode. So
Have you
they
seen?
can't
Have you
hear
seen?
me. Like, you better call before you come. No,
Yeah.
don't call. Send the text. And I think that's just, I don't know. Times have changed. I'm like, peeking out the blinds and shit.
Yeah. I don't
I
have
think it's
a lot of
rude
phone
to
here.
do that. It's
But have you ever
incredibly
seen
rude
that
just to
the
show up.
committee, the comedy routine that Sebastian, whatever his name is, about
Mm-mm.
visitors coming to the house? I'll have to send it to you. You will
But
freaking
see,
cry.
I
It's
only
hysterical.
talk to certain people on the phone. I've learned my lesson. You know what I mean? I just
Well,
Me too.
yeah, we've
Or
learned
Yeah.
our
just like, you know, sometimes there's too much noise. And I love to talk. Like, I'm a Gemini, so we're the sign of communication. We love to communicate, but there's also a time where I need to cut everything off and just sit in silence for
Yeah.
at least an hour
Yeah.
or so. because
Well,
it's
I'm
too
a
much.
Scorpio, so does it make sense now?
A Scorpio?
Yeah, Scorpios can be talkers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Oh.
I'm not talking about the talking. I'm just talking about personality in general.
I can tell
You
you,
know what's funny is
Scorpios
my-
Could
in
be the
fact,
age too. You're younger than us. You know
now
what I
that
Oh
mean?
you
yeah,
said
for
that,
sure.
but now that you said Scorpio, a lot of things make sense.
I'm
Because
sure.
you're very sexual beings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Scorpio,
won't even
so-
tell you a story about a Scorpio I did.
I'm married to one, and I thank God every day that I am.
My sister's a Scorpio.
Because that shit's
Scorpios
good.
love to talk. My ex-boyfriend, he's still one of my best friends. I still talk to his mom on the phone, and we can talk for hours. And she's somebody that I enjoy talking on the phone with. But yeah, and she'll rub,
Yes, Becky.
but it's enjoyable chatter.
Note to self: never call
Becky
them.
Boo, gonna make some sanka. What
I'll
is
be
that
like, "Ooh,
guy
I'm
say?
sick. Sorry, I can't."
Oh yeah,
talk."
I don't. Yeah, I don't appreciate people just showing up. Like I because
Me either. I won't
No.
answer the door for real. I
Yeah.
will not.
well, my next door neighbor sometimes he'll get my mail, and he'll bring it over just to be nice, and I'll hear someone come at the door. I'm like, I don't know if I want to answer this. I do because it's him and he's just being nice, but I don't like when people don't tell me they're coming. You don't.
You have to look up on YouTube Sebastian Maniscalco.
I will.
He
Hey, Carla.
is freaking
Yeah.
hysterical.
The only time I like when people tell me they're coming is in the bedroom. You know what I mean?
Ooh, God. Didn't see that one coming.
I saw it coming. I really did.
Did you?
I'm a talker, but Dum over here is an Aries and shuts down. Well, my husband talks to me sometimes, and I'm watching YouTube, and he says, "You look at me like deers in a headlight." He goes, "You didn't hear a word I said, did you?" Because I'm listening to something else, and I'm like, "Oh, that annoys him so bad, like so bad."
Mm. See, but I tend
My
to tune out
husband's a
because
Leo.
you should. Leos are pretty. They're supposed to be the leader of all
Huh.
the signs. Like they're the boss of everyone.
Yeah,
I
that's
believe
It's kind
it.
of true because my mom and my
My
aunt are
husband's
Leos.
a
Yeah.
Leo.
I believe it.
Yeah. And they are like not even
Leo.
cocky about it. They're like laid back, like I run my shit and don't mess with me because I'm the boss
Yeah.
with anybody they meet.
Yep.
But he's not like that, though.
That is so
Husband's
him.
not like that.
Mine is.
Well, they can be subtle about it. And the thing is, with every single sign, because I used to be obsessed with astrology. And the interesting part is there's a difference between men signs and women. Like male Geminis, I'm a male Gemini, but also a May Gemini. My brother's a June Gemini, so he's a cocky bitch. Okay. I'm more of a shy one, but also talkative. Women Geminis are very, very quiet when you first meet them. And then once you get to know them, they don't shut the fuck up. So male and female signs are different.
Oh, I'm a Libra. What does that make me?
You like balance. Libras are the scale and it's like balance. And women, to be honest, women Libras tend to be real bitchy in the beginning.
Oh God, I can be. No, I'm never bitchy.
I'm a Virgo. I'm the virgin.
You're the Virgo.
No. That is a cover up. Virgos
I know.
are some of the biggest sluts you'll ever meet in your life.
In fact,
Well,
we
that's
are.
her.
In
Just to
fact,
meet
we
her.
are.
That's definitely
Yep.
showing what she is. Yeah.
Mhm.
We are not.
Yep.
We're not leaders. We're followers.
Even admits
no.
it. She's proud of it.
We're good for
She celebrates
support. Shut up. We're good for support for leaders, but we want to tell them how they're doing it wrong the whole fucking time. I know. I'm gonna whip her ass later.
That's very true. And Virgos are, in my opinion, one of the most stubborn signs ever.
Fucking,
I
you're
know so
right.
many female
Oh, yeah.
Virgos, and you guys are very stubborn.
We are.
Like there's this one.
Oh my
Actually, she was my
Yes.
girlfriend in high school,
Mhm.
and she was so stubborn. Okay, she's a Virgo, so stubborn that even if her lighter was missing, or
Mhm.
if somebody borrowed her lighter to light their cigarette, she'd be like, "Give it back," and she would monitor her lighter.
Yep.
Like she
I
was.
monitor my lighters. I do.
Yep.
That's not even a joke.
Wait,
I get so pissed
So,
off when my
Robbie,
lighters go missing.
you
Yeah,
were
I'm-
into women at first?
I lost my virginity to a woman. Her and I
I
were.
didn't know that.
Yeah, she was my girlfriend for 3 years in high school, and
The
then I
more
told her
you
I was
know.
gay, and it was kind of like
You know
a
you
Will
were
and Grace
gay.
situation.
Did you know you were gay when you were dating her?
That
Let
was
me
going
tell
to
you
be my next
something.
question.
I grew up in the 80s, and let me tell you, short shorts on men, I knew I was gay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
why did you date a woman? Would you?
Because he was in the closet.
No, but
Yeah,
I want to know
It
societal.
if you would
wasn't.
still date a woman because
Well,
it's, you
I mean,
know,
she was very pretty. I mean, I guess I
Hi,
tried
Troy.
to, because I also grew up
Yes.
like Baptist Christian, thinking I'm going to go to hell and stuff. So I kind of
Right.
tried to go against it. But like once I built a relationship with Christ, I always asked him, like, make me straight, you know, if that's the case. And he never did, obviously.
Well, you know,
Howard.
when my niece came out, my mother completely lost her mind for a second.
My parents did too.
And
They
she called
claim
me.
they didn't kick me out, but they did.
Right. And they do. They ostracize you, even though they don't think that's what they're doing, but they do.
Mhm.
But, you know, she called me, mom called me, and she said, Katie's gay. I'm like, okay, and? She's like, but she just can't be, da-da-da-da-da, you know, the whole religion thing. I said, Mom, let me ask you a question. Do you love her any less because you know this? She goes, oh, God, no. I would never stop loving her. And I said, so what's your problem? I mean, seriously, I'm like, if God doesn't have a problem with her, you shouldn't have a problem with her. And I don't think God has a problem with her. Do you honestly tell me you're worshiping a God that would treat his own creation that way? Just kick them out, boot them out? I don't think he works that way. So I think you need to
God is so
mind
awesome.
your own business. Know your own truth. If it's wrong for you, it's wrong for you. Don't judge Katie. That's not your job. You're not her judge. Just love her. And it's been awesome since then. She's gotten married, has a beautiful wife, and you know, she's just like a spouse. To us, that's Katie's spouse, you know. And they've been really gentle with my mom about it, which has been nice because she can get cray-cray. But you know, and taking her feelings into consideration in a lot of different areas. But they're a married couple. They're affectionate with each other in front of my mom, which I think they should be. They are in love. And it's not about what you're sporting, you know, it's about who you love. But yeah.
Can I ask you something, Robert? Would you ever get married?
No.
Why?
Why is
Because
that?
I don't. First of all, I think marriage ruins marriages, and also I kid when I say that, but I just don't want, and it's the same with relationships too. I've just had bad experiences with not being able to, like, you know, I've always been with super needy people, and I don't like that responsibility of being the person that has to make somebody else happy. And I know that sounds terrible, but it's a big responsibility. And sometimes I've gone over the top to try to, or maybe naturally, I just like to be in my own head a lot of the times. Like, I like to write music. That takes time being by yourself. I like doing things by myself. I like going for runs by myself, stuff like that. So I don't want my time that I enjoy for myself to ruin somebody else's happiness, because I need a lot of me time.
Yeah.
So it's just, it wouldn't work. I don't think I'm designed to
But
be with
you
somebody
can
else.
meet someone, Robbie, though,
You
that
can.
will allow you to have that time, truly.
That
They're
needs you
not
to have that
all
time. That needs you to
crazies.
have it. Look, my first marriage, one of the big factors why I was going to get a divorce was because my mantra at the time was love should not be this hard. It shouldn't be this much freaking work. And I kind of, you know, shunned the whole idea of even having a relationship again. But my husband now is so completely different from my ex-husband. We have a lot of me time, even when we're in the same house. He's on one end, I'm on the other. And we're just doing our thing, and it's not a big deal. You know what I mean?
Well,
It's
can I
not like
also
you
just
have
say
to be
that-
with me.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
and I would love that. But I think that I think God designed me a little bit different, because I think he designs everybody different, obviously.
Well, yeah.
I think he designed me because I have my family and my friends that I like to put my time into when I have the time and stuff. So I feel like that's more what God designed me for.
It could
is
be.
friendships and stuff, because, you know, if you're in a relationship, you can't really be there for your friends as much. So,
Sure you
or your
can.
family. Well, I mean, you can.
I think you can.
But I
But
think,
again,
like, my
you're
time is
talking
better
to
put
the
into
most
those.
non-clingy woman probably on the planet. So
Me too.
maybe
Right.
maybe that just makes me I don't know, a weirdo for that. But I think no matter if you're married, whatever, you can still have your friends, you can still have your me time, you can still, you know, you don't have to be glued to the hip 24/7. Like, I
Right.
think that shit,
Robbie, you were in a
especially the
relationship
people.
though, weren't you?
Mhm.
In a long-term relationship. Did you live together with that person or?
Yeah, he's still one of my
So-
best friends. He's
Okay,
currently
so
mad at
that
me
was
right now
like
because of my
kind of
relapse.
like
But
a marriage, kind of like a
Mhm.
marriage when you live with somebody.
True.
So
yeah, and it was Cody and I are better off friends. He was very needy, and alcohol was a problem in our relationship with me even then.
Yep.
So now that it's funny because now that I'm sober, we were best friends after we broke up, and he's mad at me because I told everybody about my relapse, and so he's really mad at me right now and not talking to me. But living
Oh.
together with him, I felt like I couldn't breathe because I couldn't even go into the other room and like be in silence and write a song without him being like, why are you doing that? It was always questioning, like, and to me, questions like that, or why are you doing things to make yourself happy? Or why are you doing things to relax? So I could never relax. I couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
Literally could not breathe. I would lay there at nighttime in bed next to him and like take deep breaths because I felt suffocated all the time.
Yeah.
Not the
And that's
right
the way I
one,
felt.
then.
That's not the right one. When you find that right one, though, I could sleep on the couch 5 nights in a row just because I want to watch something that I want to watch and he's trying to sleep. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother him. I could spend all night up on the computer listening to music and he's watching movies, and that's cool. We don't have to have that on top of each other all the time kind of thing. He'll go and hang out with the guys. I'll stay home. I'll go and hang out with my mom, my sister, whoever. And he'll stay at home. I mean, we don't have to be in each other's presence all the time. When we do miss each other, one or the other will come to the other and say, I miss you. Let's hang out. And we'll hang out all day or all weekend or whatever.
It's good to
But
miss each other.
it's not all, exactly. And you can create that environment even under the same roof. But that's when you're with the right person. And it's not
Yeah.
hard work and it's not suffocating. So
Yeah,
leave the
and I
door
feel-
just cracked open. Just say it.
Right. I feel bad because in Cody and I's relationship, he's 9 years younger than me, and he wants, he's very successful. He's very independent and stuff, and everything is well put together. You can't even leave a crumb on the counter without him being like, oh my God, clean it up.
Yep, that's me.
Yeah. And so
I'm gonna shoot this fucking bird, you guys. Oh my God, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm gonna fucking shoot it.
it
Shut
sounds
up.
adorable.
Sorry.
All of a
Go
sudden
ahead.
you hear a gun go off.
Sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh no, you're fine. But with him, he was always very like, he wants to get married right away. He wants that relationship to make him happy and all that. And with me, like, I don't need that. And I love Cody very much even now. Like, if something happened, I would be devastated. But we wanted something different. And of course, I was an alcoholic too. And he hates alcohol. He likes his pot once in a while, but so we kind of clashed with that. And then it didn't work out.
Yeah.
But like you guys said, yeah, you could find the right person, but I think it just needs to happen completely naturally, because I definitely ain't looking for it.
Right. That's when you find it, though.
Mhm.
When you quit looking for it. I promise you that.
I think I found it. Misdemeanor, what are you doing later for lunch?
Come on, baby.
that's how Misdemeanor
Let's
found
go.
it. She said to God, what did you say again?
I said, I quit. I suck at this. I
Mhm.
sat down on my kitchen floor, was bawling snot, ugly cry. And I said, really, I don't know if you've noticed, but I really suck at this whole picking guys out thing. So I quit, and it's your job now. I'm leaving it up to you. You know what I like, but give me what I need, not what I want.
Yep.
Because I go after what I want, and it's not anything like what I need. And about a week later, I met my husband.
Wow.
And I kept questioning him. I would sit on the couch and he'd be in the other room. And I'm like, okay, I'm not feeling this. Something's not right. So I'm telling you right now, between me and you, God, I need him to walk into this room and at some point say just one sentence. And I, exactly what the sentence was. And I'm not kidding you. Within 2 to 5 minutes, he would be in that same room with me saying exactly what I just said.
Wow.
I'm like, okay. So then I quit
that's
questioning him.
God right there. Mhm.
Yeah. And he is exactly everything I've ever needed and everything I've ever wanted. So I got a good package deal at no cost because there shouldn't be a cost.
No.
I think that's
Yeah.
where we get in trouble. It's like, ooh, I really like this guy, but he, but she, and we give a list of the things that are not quite right. There shouldn't even be that list. It should just be like, there it is right in front of you. Perfect package.
I love how we're talking about you falling in love as we have the National Domestic Violence Hotline scrolling at the bottom of the screen.
But it can happen, you know, and
Yeah.
that's another part of the domestic violence. You know, all of us have been through that before on some
Oh
level
God,
or
yeah, I've been
another.
arrested for it.
And you know, issues between my husband and I now are things like I've been gaslit so much that when he questions me, "Are you sure?" I'll like flip out. Like, what do you mean I'm not sure? I'm damn right I'm sure. And I start ripping out receipts from everywhere. And he's like, "Calm down." And I'm like, "No, you don't understand. I've had somebody telling me you're crazy. I didn't say that. I didn't put that there. I didn't do." And to the point that I now feel like I have to prove my very existence. Still, even after all these years, it's getting a lot better. But we had to go through that because of that previous issue with my ex-husband and how he treated me. He's like, "I'm not him." I'm like, "I know you're not, but you have to understand that certain circumstances or situations bring up issues that really trigger me. And I don't mean for it to happen. It just happens, you know." So we've worked on that a lot. He's been really patient, really loving with me. So I let him sleep with me. Just saying.
I can't sleep next to somebody. It drives me nuts.
Well, you want to hear something weird? I've never told anybody this.
Mm-hmm.
I met my husband on Valentine's Day, and we were married March 8th.
Whoa, the same year?
17 years ago.
Well,
we both knew. He said, "Why wait? Like, this was a second, marriage for both of us." So when
Got
you know,
it.
you know
Wow.
sometimes.
Yeah.
I know, it's like 3 weeks later. We were married. 17 years.
8 days. 8
Valentine's
days.
Day is such a
Jana,
weird day.
look, Jana,
there's not
her
a-
husband asked her to marry him 8 days after they went out for the first time.
And
Joyce Meyer did the
there's
same
not
thing.
a day that hasn't gone by since I've been with him that he hasn't told me he loves me. Not
Aw,
one day.
Mhm.
Not one
you guys
day.
are making me all bubbly now. Come
Hi,
on, Dane.
Stephanie.
Come on.
There's hope, Robbie. There's hope.
Oh no,
Just you have to
no.
you have to
No,
invite
I
us
don't
all
need
to the
it.
wedding.
No,
Stephanie, you can come up if you want to ask a question.
Hey, Stephanie.
Um,
But Carla, no, that is really great. I mean, some people, Joyce Meyer's husband, they've been married, 50 years or something? She married.
evangelist or televangelist. She does
Yeah,
like
she's
the
one of my
religious shows.
favorites.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love her. She's great.
I used to watch her because I would get up early in the morning when I worked, and she would be on like really, really early.
Mhm.
So what was?
She's
what was-
definitely. I'm sorry. What?
What were you saying? Sorry, I interrupted
Oh
you.
no, I'm just saying that's great.
I
I mean,
apologize.
that's true. And look, you're still together, and I think that's great. And I don't, I'm not one of those people who are like, oh, I can't wait for it to happen to me, because I don't care. I could have it, and it would be great if I met the right person. But if I don't, I'm really happy. Like, I like myself.
Mine sends me a text that says, "Nice ass, have a good day," instead of lovey-dovey stuff.
That's more my style, Ems. I like funny stuff. Funny is one of the biggest turn-ons for me. Like, what I look for in somebody is humor.
Oh yeah, sense of humor is really important. My husband actually has a pretty good sense of humor.
Mm-hmm. That's why I always had a crush on like Jim Carrey or Dane Cook, like funny people.
I know, yeah, they're funny, sexy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You can't come up right now. We are going to the lake. I just finished watching all the craziness, and I just wanted to know what was the list for. Y'all knew about the list. Okay, Stephanie. The list was, Jen had asked us who we, how did she say it? Do you remember, Misdemeanor?
I think it was along the lines of who to avoid, who they thought.
Who do I avoid? And it was just our own personal people that we wanted to avoid on YouTube. It wasn't to send her on a freaking campaign to terrorize anybody.
Absolutely not. I would never.
Any kind of video she made she was never asked to make a video about these people. She was never asked to go after as a matter of fact, I asked her not to, because I said, when you make these after, sometimes she wouldn't tell us until after she made a video. And I said, when you make these videos, it makes me look like I sent you after these people. And, I would get upset with her. That was not Alyssa. That was all her idea for these lists. So I don't know. I don't know what she was going to do with them.
I thought,
She had a troll list too. But
when I don't
see
even know
that.
about any of that crap. That wasn't even talked about. But the bottom line is, when she came to me about it and asked me, she said, who are people that you avoid, or that you are concerned about, or that you feel
You're
like
muffled
have
just a
caused
little
problems?
bit, misdemeanor.
Oh,
You're
sorry.
muffled just a tiny
Is
bit.
that better?
Yeah, that's
Yes,
better.
that's better.
Okay. She had asked, who have y'all had issues with? Who do you feel like, would pose problems for them? And I gave her my list, and I stand by it today. I'm sorry if it disturbs people, that I feel like there are people on this medium, the social medium, that are issues. Then I have my opinion, just like everybody else does. I guess it's caused some kind of a national catastrophe apparently this morning, and I'm a horrible individual because I have my own opinion about things.
Okay, like the see you next Tuesday list, and she ran with it. You know what, Stephanie, this was 2 months ago. I don't remember what we said in a private Discord 2 months ago. There was probably people I was mad at the time for different reasons, and again, this was supposed to be private. This was not supposed to go public. I didn't go on a platform and scream and yell and call people names. They messed with my channel, for one thing, was one reason I was upset with it. That never came to light. They went back in old videos and blocked people on my channel, and then admitted to doing it and thought it was funny. And so, yeah,
and they've done things since all of this happened that we're not even going to mention, because they just didn't need to be talked about.
Keep this going tit for tat. But the thing is, I'm not going to post it's, what is this doing? What is this giving her?
And I'm sorry that I flipped my lid last night, but the thing is, this has been drip, 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 drip for the last 2 months. It's been constant. Well, I'm going to show this. I'm going to show that. You know what? Fucking show it. And when you do, show your shit too. Open up your Discord.
Exactly.
Let me just come in there and take some screenshots and shit.
And then you can judge me when you start showing. And Misdemeanor sent out a challenge today, and her challenge was, what was it? I can't remember. So long ago. Oh yeah, wasn't it? When you all have, can show all your
Me
private
too, Stephanie.
yeah, we want it over.
We want to sit in here and talk about butt gurgling.
Yeah.
Yeah, which you need to try, by the way.
We did not ask Jen to come back. We did not ask anybody to come back. I don't know this Leanne Lynn, whoever she is. I did not expect to get a thing. We're not all going to like each other, and that's fine. But if you ask anybody in here, Stephanie, if I've ever told them to not go anywhere, that's not. I think Jen was the biggest problem in this community, because she just seemed to want to go after people for some reason. And
I don't know. I don't know what their issue is. All I know is I'm moving forward, and there's people I'm not going to like. I'm not going to interact. I'm not going to go. I'm not one to go and dig in your real life crap or even your YouTube crap. I just have no interest, and I just won't entertain it.
Oh, that's fine, Stephanie. You asked a question, you had a question, that's fine. But we just don't want to address that over and over again, because it just seems like every time we put it to bed, it's brought up again.
Right, Samara.
And, at some point, we just have to put it to bed. And if it's brought up, I honestly think she is a big reason that the blowout with others is so big.
She is. She's a big part of it. I mean,
I think things were finally getting settled down, and then all of a sudden she comes in and starts, making accusations, and I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even hate watch anymore.
Yeah, I don't hate watch.
I haven't for months.
Honestly, when we get off here, we don't even talk about any of them. None.
You talk about me or butt gargling?
Oh,
You always
God,
talk shit about
yes.
that.
All the time talk about what.
I do. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna see how many panels I can get on today and talk about
You
your
know that
disgusting
Mr. Leader is
habits.
sending me your butt pics, right? He's sending me your butt pics. Definitely sending me your butt pics today.
Oh, I could send
You
you those.
should-
That's fine. I don't mind.
I'm gonna drool over them.
There are people that I've seen in chats fighting, and I've made an attempt to avoid it. Who cares? You should have some kind of list. Well, there you go. I
Who
have
said that?
mine.
Who said that?
Huh? That was creative. Beautiful, wonderful,
Oh,
perfect.
oh yeah. We do. We just ours was put out in public. You know, and that's the thing. We would have kept everything private, but it was
Mine-
put out to pay off to
My-
Blake. I hope you have a great day. Thank you all
Bye,
for
Stephanie.
time to me. Have a
Bye,
great day.
Stephanie.
Don't let the YouTube stuff get you down. And it hasn't been. We haven't been having fun. You have a good day at the lake. Hope you
I'm about to go run to the lake too. I need to get off of here. I need to go for my jog.
yeah, we're gonna shut down because it's been 3 hours and 39 minutes.
But thank y'all for asking that, Stephanie. That
Yeah.
was great. Thank you.
Yeah. we
And
appreciate
have
love
fun
it.
at the lake.
Love you, ladies. I'm gonna hop off too, so I could go get started. But it's always
Okay.
a good, interesting conversation to say the least.
We
I'll
Okay.
talk to you later.
All right.
sometimes.
Bye.
Okay, everybody. You guys all have a great, wonderful day. I hope everybody, let's all be kind to each other. Remember,
Yep.
The domestic violence hotline is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. And if you wanted to, you're not comfortable with calling, the text number is there too. So, I guess
Y'all
that's
have
it.
a great day. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, have a great weekend.
See you around.
And that's it. See you later.